All right, we finally made it on a couple of minutes late tonight, but it's Monday night, so I guess I'm forgiven. Had a busy weekend, but welcome to the Stunt Hanger video chat hangout, where we talk about aeromodeling and all kinds of other things that you do for fun, be it modeling or full size stuff, airplanes, cars, boats, trains, planes, and automobiles. Um, and as usual, the YouTube chat box is open, and the links are also posted on the live streams / at the bench thread on Stunthangar for people who are members and are logged into Stunthangar. And notifications that we just went on the air went out automatically to any of Sparky's YouTube channel, Stunthangar channel subscribers that have their notifications set to receive alerts that we things like we come on or post something new. In fact, just got around to posting Friday's show, the rerun today. We had to do a little editing on that, but it's up and running. I don't know how many of you watch the reruns. I think actually a lot of people do watch the reruns, so it's up now, in case you hadn't seen it. And we've got 6 viewers on the tube so far, and so we'll sit here and wait for visitors to come into the video hang out here until about 11 or 12 o'clock, and our first visitor just arrived. Hey, Charles, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm excellent. I am worn out, but nobody ever died from too much fun. I had a great weekend. We went to see the Grateful Dead concert in Raleigh, and
Oh, very cool.
I'm here to tell you the hippies are still out in full force, or at least a lot of people that look like them, but there sure were a lot that acted like them too.
Oh,
So
very cool.
that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, very cool.
Peace, love, dove. I
Yeah.
can't. All I can do is can't do a peace sign anymore. That's terrible. I
Well, they
can't.
recognize that's what it happens to when they get older.
Yeah. Well, I can't join either team. I can't flip the bird either.
Well, that might keep you getting beaten up.
Yeah, I can still shake a fist though, like a crazy old man. Get
There
off of
we
my
go.
lawn.
There we go. That
How was
works.
your weekend?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I didn't do any flying. What did I do? I know I thought a lot about building. Didn't get much building done, but I thought about it a lot.
Tomorrow is the first weekday I've had in a month where I didn't really have anything big and responsible that I have to do. So I am going to try to get some productive shop time in tomorrow. I want to get my table leveled and get started on this wing. I'm sick of talking about it and want to do it. Fuselage is built. All the dang thing needs is a wing.
Wow, well,
And
I'm in the other way. My wing is all built. I need a fuselage.
that's the way I usually go at it. But I started backwards from usual this time just to see how I liked it. And I think it's going to make painting easier.
Yeah,
I'm making it sound like there's less than there really is because the closer you get to finish, the farther the finish line seems to get away from you.
I haven't been there since a long time. It's been a while since I've even put a finish on a plane. That Zoe Life, that Nobler, was
Yeah.
the last finish I actually put on the plane. And that did take some time. But I was watching Sparky's videos on the fuselage layout. He has like 3 of them, and I've been watching them over and over again. And one thing I discovered is that I didn't have a 4-foot long straight edge, so I went to Lowe's and Harbor Freight to kind of find um, a ruler, and I found a level in the stores, and I placed the rulers against the level
Yeah.
to see if any inconsistencies. And I want a really flat edge, because
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
got you got to glue the top block to it, and if it's not a good fit, you're going to use more glue, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be as strong as if you have a real good fit. And so something I talked to a friend of mine. He's a machinist, and he said we could use his surface plate, and maybe we can rub out. So we can get it to sit flat against the surface plate because that's what I really want.
You know what else about buying rulers is it's getting hard to find one that doesn't have an eighth of an inch of um, dead metal between zero and the end of the strip, and I want the end of the strip to be zero. I've
Exactly.
screwed up so many times because I read what was down here and didn't realize I was using the butt of the ruler rather than the zero mark, an eighth of an inch in from the butt, and totally screwed up stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm trying to. I'm just being very particular. You know, because well, not the next thing, but I want to cut a datum line on my fuselage sides.
Yeah,
I want to make an edge
that's
first,
the first
and
thing you need to do. Yeah, when you start on a fuselage,
right. But if the ruler is crooked,
wavy.
yeah. I mean, it's just a little bit I'm talking about. I mean, I'm being too fussy, but I just want it flat. I really want it to be
Yeah.
like it was ground. Ground flat. That's what I really want. And I guess you can't expect a lot for $5, right?
Well, nobody can fault you for wanting. I don't know about that. I guess not, but um, nobody can fault you for wanting the perfectly straight edge. You know, but Staples has pretty good rulers. You might have you got a Staples nearby?
Yeah, I happen to work at one.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I'll check them out. I didn't actually, I didn't think of them actually, but you're right. There might be something there that might be suitable. Maybe not, but it might be. I bought one at Harbor Freight and I bought one at Lowe's, and they're okay, but I'm not ready to use them. I'm hoping I can rub them out tomorrow. With my
Do,
friend, he's a
do
machinist.
any of the ones that you've already got zero at the end of the stick, or is it inset by an eighth of an inch?
I don't know. The downstairs, I can get up and check them out.
That's okay. Maybe if you when you feel like getting up to take a break or something, grab them. But that's
Okay.
no big deal.
Let
Oh,
me ask you
Kevin
this.
McElroy's here. Home Depot says flat bar. Yeah, Home Depot flat bar. That would probably be pretty straight. I
Yeah.
guess if you got a piece of flat bar, I don't know if aluminum would be a good idea or not, but and you also had a flat work surface, then you could put a strip of sanding belt paper on there or something, and
Right. Just rub it
slide
out.
it back
Yeah.
and forth like that.
That's what I'm
You
thinking.
could do possibly the same thing with your ruler, steel
Right.
ruler too.
Hey, get ready for
Aluminum's liable to get not so straight in a short time if you drop it a couple of times. Drop it and whack it, and it ain't straight anymore. So I bought, Kevin, I bought a 1 inch by 16th inch aluminum angle iron, um, and it's not straight, and I was expecting it to be. I use it for a long sanding bar and a straight edge too. Kevin McElroy's in here with us. Did you hear what I said? He said
Yeah,
Home
I
Depot
did.
flat bar.
I did. Hey,
Yeah.
Kevin, I was thinking about calling you today. I mean, I actually had your phone and your name on my phone, and I almost hit call, and I thought about something, and so I'll get back to him later on. So I don't have the chat. I don't know how to find your comments, Kevin.
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me for the 15th time.
Okay. Go to open a tab with the Stunthangar announcement in it. I presume you know where that is at the bench where I posted the link to the video chat.
Yeah, I'm going there right now.
Okay. And you'll see the video for this.
Okay.
And yeah, when you start it, once it starts, there'll be a YouTube logo in the bottom right corner of the YouTube view screen.
Okay.
Click on that so it goes to YouTube, and the page that it goes to will have that chat box on it. So when you get there, then I'll tell you what to do next.
I'm there.
Okay. At the top right corner of the chat box, which,
Right.
okay, you see the three dots?
I do.
Click on them and then click pop out chat.
Left click or right click?
Right click on the three dots.
Okay.
And now, do you see where it says pop out chat in the menu?
No, I see reload, save as, print, cast, translate to English, view page source.
I don't think it, you might have missed the dots. Let me go
No.
back to the page.
Here we go. I found it.
Okay. Okay. Click pop out chat.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And the chat box popped out.
I see it. Yeah.
All right. Now kill the whole rest of that stuff, or just minimize it to be safe. Everything except the chat box, which it's open on your taskbar. If you, hover over the Chrome icon, you'll see the chat box. But then you can open that chat box and drag it, reshape it, move it over, make your video screen a little bit narrower so you got room beside it, and shape your chat box as a column that'll sit right next to it.
Okay. Let me see here. Google Hangouts. Okay. And then where the okay, I got, okay, so now I can reshape it and drag it over here. Okay. Okay, I got, okay, now I can reshape it,
Yeah, you can scrunch it all in there.
drag it, get rid of the other stuff. Okay.
Yeah, you can scrunch it all in there. Be sure and you might want to close that YouTube page. You can either close it or mute the video on it. Closing it won't make the chat box go away, though.
Okay, where? I thought I closed everything. Hang on.
You can either close it or mute the video on it. Closing it won't make the chat box go away.
I don't even see that I closed it already. I thought I closed everything. Hang on. Okay, let me log out and come back in.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can you click up the YouTube watch page with the video on it and just hit stop?
Oh, okay, that one. Oh, that's where it's at. Okay, hang on.
Can you click up the YouTube watch page with the video on it and just hit stop?
Oh, okay, that one. Oh, that's where it's at. Okay, hang on.
Click up the YouTube watch page with the video on it and just hit stop.
Oh, okay, that one. Oh, that's where it's at. Okay, hang on.
I think Charles lost his feed.
Oh, okay, that one. Oh, that's where it's at. Okay, hang on.
Well, Charles is going to have to log back off anyway. I think he's killed himself by accident. Well, Charles is going to have to log back off anyway. I think he's killed himself by accident. He's still got something on. And this is the Stunthangar Comedy Hour. He's still got something on. Where we have 6 viewers. And this is the Stunthangar Comedy Hour. Still got something on. Where we have 6 viewers. Let me see if I can kill Charles's thread. I can't, he's not even in my world. I can't see him at all. There he goes. Okay. You still got a tab open in the background with the video going, Charles. There he goes. You still got a tab open in the background with the video going, Charles. You got your cell phone, Charles?
Yeah.
I was thinking of calling you to talk to you that way. Meanwhile, I'm gonna mute your mic. Right, it wouldn't
Okay.
work anyway.
I don't know why I
You
can't.
got to reboot, bud.
All right, man. I'll try that. I'll see ya.
Okay. And then I'll say hi to Gerald as soon as you disappear.
All right, man. I'll try that. I'll see ya.
Okay. And then I'll say hi to Gerald. My Lord, hold on. Maybe I'm the one that's mucking up the words. Okay. Yes. And then I'll say hi to Gerald. My Lord. It was me. It was me. Damn it. I thought it was Charles mucking up the works, and it was me the whole time.
Oh, so there's another window there in the background somewhere running away.
It was. I had gone over there to show Charles how to get to the YouTube chat box, and we were tinkering with it, and then I must have inadvertently, or mine must have automatically started streaming while I was over there. Oh well. And Charles had it figured out, and now I got him thinking that he screwed it up. Anyway, how are you, Gerald?
Good, thank you.
Well, I'm pretty good. I was just telling Charles about my weekend. Had a grueling weekend at the Hippie Fest Grateful Dead concert, and I'm so happy to see that the hippies are still out in full force, or a lot of people that look like hippies. But I think there were some plenty of genuine ones there too. But it was great. It was way better than the Dead show I saw in probably 1977 in Atlanta. And it was, let's see, they went on from 7 till midnight, I think. And man, it was a great show. They played they played a lot of songs. They played 2 sets with an intermission. And of course, they didn't play all the songs that I wanted to hear, but they played some of them, and they played a lot of songs that I hadn't thought of that I'm really glad they played. So it was a top-notch production. It was an outdoor amphitheater, so it was tough for me to get around in, but I managed to hop on a golf cart and make tracks and get ahead of the crowd a little bit. And it was a nice place to provide that service, because I've been to some that don't really care at all. Yeah, I think it was the greatest way I could have chosen to spend my time on the weekend. I've been a Dead fan forever. Well, I don't know about forever, but since the early to mid 70s, and went to see him in college, and never expected to get the opportunity to see him again. But my son and his significant other took me and Holly to see the concert. So yeah, it was good.
Oh, sounds like an excellent deal. Getting 7 till 11 music, that's a very, very long run.
Yeah, it was. And man, there are a lot of people in that band, and they play a whole hell of a lot of instruments, and there are some of their instruments I have never seen before. I have no idea what some of them were. The percussion was especially impressive. Of course, they've always had 2 drummers, but they had 2 full-blown percussion sections that were just they just blew us away. It was great. Keyboards, and the guy plays the guitar just about like Jerry Garcia's style, which you pretty much have to do if you're going to play Grateful Dead songs. But they don't try to fill in for Jerry Garcia's singing voice. They just sing with what they've got, which is good. And Bob Weir, who sang a lot of the songs, is still there. So yeah, I mean, it was absolutely great. Now I appreciate much more how they still have such a far widespread following these days.
Well, they're really quite a sensation in terms of how long they've been going. Very few bands around as long as they have. I was lucky a few years back to go and see MC5 when they they did the reformation. I think it was one of the singers from Soundgarden, something, or no, it wasn't Soundgarden. It was Mudhoney, or sort of a garage band helped them with their replacement vocalist. I suppose it's a similar thing when you look at other bands like Lynyrd Skynyrd, where you've lost a major member of the band and you've got to somehow make amends. But yeah, it was so nice to see something as memorable as that. And you're seeing the Grateful Dead, I suppose, like seeing a legend like the Rolling Stones.
Yes, Rolling Stones actually came to Columbia, and I managed to miss it. And I could kick myself for that. But the good news is Pink Floyd is slated to be here next year. And we've also got Jamie in here and Kenneth Colbert with us tonight. So hello, guys. We had Charles Carter, but I ran him off by accident. I hope he comes back. We had a feedback problem that I was causing and thought it was him. So hopefully Charles will be back.
Yeah.
He probably logged off and then his computer wanted to update instead of log back in right away.
Yeah, it could take a long time getting back online.
We had a thunderstorm going on here when I was getting set up, but it looks like it's skirted us, and the worst part didn't get here. And it's due to come back, but not until late, like 11:30, 11:45 on the future forecast. So I hope that holds true.
Do you get many interruptions as far as your electricity supply goes, or underground cables?
I've got an underground cable. Well, no, I've got an underground cable from the house to the pole for my cable, and we've got overhead power. So, yeah, a tree limb could take either one of them down.
That's what normally happens where we live. We've got underground to the road, but from the road, you don't know what will happen whenever there's a storm.
Yeah.
We've been lucky to be able to get some good flying, and even with the weather being cold and wet, and our flying site here is just too wet to mow. The boys, I think I told you last time, got bogged down trying to mow our flying site here. But we went to Bruce McLaren School in West Auckland, and we had a really good turnout, plenty of flyers along. And I got to start a model that I bought the previous weekend. It was one of the models I intended to use as a practice model for my sons and for my wife. Charles?
Okay, Charles. It was me. It was me. It must have auto started the video when I went to look at that page to see what it looked like. And all the time I was trying to tell you to shut it down, mine was in the background making all that noise. I apologize, man. Just had a rush of dumb come over me.
Oh, that's funny. I was trying to figure out how is it still the audio coming through when all the tabs are shut off. I was amazed at that. I was like, how'd that happen?
When you were gone and it was still doing that, it made no sense. So the only answer had to be me. Okay.
That's funny. Well, that's comic relief for our audience, right?
Yeah, we got Gerald and Jamie in here now, and Ken Colbert was in here a minute ago. Where did he go?
He was there briefly, and then he vanished. I think he was having problems with his phone. It'd be a bit frustrating if you can only watch and you can't talk.
An ARF wing there, Jamie. What's that? Is that a Nobler?
Yeah, it's an old Nobler.
Oh, that's a good flying plane.
I emailed Tom Morris like at 5 o'clock this morning asking about a control system, complete control system for it, and I ain't heard back nothing yet. So I'm hoping.
You know why, right?
Why? He's
Steph Rodax.
Oh yeah. I didn't know if he was going or not.
No, he's going. I spoke to him last week.
Oh, okay.
I received an order Saturday. I called him, placed an order. I think it was Wednesday. And he said, okay, I'll ship it to you tomorrow, you know. So, but he told me he's going to Brodax.
Yeah, because I needed to order a new set of 58-foot lines because my other ones that I normally use for my ringmaster are all kinked up and they're over a year old, so you can imagine how abused they are.
Yeah.
So I just needed a new set because I'm flying my primary force on 58-foot lines. It flies better on 58s than it does on 60s with that 46 LA. And so yeah, I just needed to get a new set of lines. I'm thinking like, hold on, man, them arcs are just sitting up there in like the closet, and I already started beefing this one up, doing the mods and stuff. I'm like, I want a control system so I can start flying this stupid thing. And so I started looking at his control systems, and I just sent him an email because I didn't know if because I know you have to like give him the dimensions of this, that, and the other for a complete system. And I didn't know if
I think he knows about the Nobler. He probably already has the measurements already.
and that's what I was inquiring about, and if he's still done the system for it.
Yeah, him and I go back and forth about the Nobler replacement kit. So he has it all figured out. But is this your first Nobler ARF, or have you had one before?
No, this is the first one, and I got 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah, well, you definitely don't use anything that's metal in that kit.
I don't even know where the fuselage is. Where's my fuselage? No, I'm not going to use it. I was actually going to put it together stock and fly it. And, man, once I actually got to looking at this thing, oh, no. No.
Well, I've had 3 of them, so I'm speaking from experience. I've had clevises they're threaded on, and they're metal clevises they provide, and it just pulled right out.
I mean,
let's
see. I've done this. I think I've done this, in fact, Christmas morning or something. I got bored, and it was up at like 4 in the morning. But I beefed up and epoxied the inside, added some stuff on the front, added triangle block and some.
You might want to gusset the other direction too. So underneath the engine bearers, gusset that.
Right underneath right here?
Yeah, gusset the engine bearers to that firewall underneath with a triangle.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
Which, I mean, I do have triangle stock right there under it going vertical.
I see them. Oh, okay, I see them now. I couldn't see them before. But what I meant is to support it from top to bottom, have a triangle there, where the
you mean like coming at an angle down, like
yes, exactly.
Like this.
Exactly.
I think mine has that. I didn't put it there either. It was already like that.
I'm not gonna lie, since adding that epoxy and seeing it dry and whatnot, I can't even squeeze this in. I like that.
Yeah, that's it's a good flying plane.
Is it a plastic cowl that's just hanging on the bearers? So there's not much support for the motor, I suppose.
It doesn't even hang on the bearers. It hangs on the fuselage sides. At least mine weren't attached. But my last Nobler, I put a top block and I cut the cowl like a traditional Nobler. So it wasn't even like how the other ones are. You couldn't really tell mine was an ARF.
And so I'm thinking on using a Tower 40 in it.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
In which it fits nice, and it's really nice, actually. I'll be damned.
Just mount that Tower 40 back as far as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already seeing like this little bit of I guess you say this gusset that I put on there. It hits the screws for the back plate. But the guy in our club, he has a Max S35 in his, and it actually flies all right.
That's a nice motor, by the way. That Max 35S. That's a really nice
love that motor. Yeah. Now I flew with an FP35, which was a good fit for it too. Yeah. Let me click on Gerald there. It's blurry now. Pull it back a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
I've got a few.
I don't know. When I was at Brodax, my roommate had a Tudor, the original Tudor, not the Tudor 2, but the Tudor, the regular Tudor, which was a kit. He had one of those with the OS Max 35S, and I was just enamored with the 4.2 brake.
It's incredible. The description ought to be in the diction. The picture of the motor ought to be next to the description in the dictionary.
Yeah, it was great. I was so impressed with that motor.
That's what I saw on my shoestring.
Okay. And this plane, I think, weighed 32 ounces. That's with the engine and tank and everything. It was a light plane.
That's what my shoestring weighs.
Okay, so I had plenty of power. What you got there, Gerald?
Well, it's a biplane from a friend. A friend that was set up with a 35S, so I was just working on it a bit.
Wow. Oh, that's sweet.
It's a bit like a Duchess biplane, but yeah, it was set up for that. That's why I had the 35S just sitting there to go on that biplane. But I've got my other Great Lakes biplane that I nearly finished, but that one should be a stunt bike, whereas the Great Lakes is purely a trainer, not a trainer, a scale model. So that one should be one that's stuntable, like my old Duchess biplane, which is lying over, very sad in the corner of the room. It got demoed a few years back, so I wanted to replace it, and that looks like a nice replacement. But yeah, I went and saw a friend the other day, and he passed on some models for me and the boys and my wife to use, and one of them is like a very heavily modified twister. I'll grab it and show you. It's got quite a neat control system, but when you say all metal, this one might be at odds with what's correct, but I'll grab it.
All right.
So this started off life as a twister.
Yeah, it started out as a twister. It's covered in like a heavier mylar than the standard combat mylar. It's a bit, and it's got a very long tail.
Wow,
So
it's probably a fanterized twister, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a fanterized twister. Yeah, it looks like one.
Wow, look at that control horn.
Yeah, it's got the groove control horn with the ball links on it. It's very easy to adjust.
Yeah.
1-to-1. Yeah.
Well, how tall is that flap horn, you think?
Ooh, it's about 1 1/4 or maybe even 1 1/2.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
And then it's got a very large plastic horn on the tail of it.
Yeah.
And he had set it up for like beginner stunt, so it's only got a small tank. And I think the guy that built it's no longer flying. Roscoe Smith, I think, built it many years ago. And I've put a FC40 on it, which is like an FFOS 40 heavy Schnell motor, but it had a whole chunk of lead weight on it to balance out the heavy tail. Originally it had an LA46 on it, but the SF40 didn't need any balance weight with that big muffler hanging off it.
Yeah.
And I made up my own Venturi like I normally do. I just made up a alloy tube Venturi and restricted 6 millimeters, and it worked really well. It's a very small Venturi. It's about 0.225, 265 or something like that. Very small Venturi, slightly over 6 millimeter.
Is that a carbon fiber landing gear, or is that
Yep.
carbon fiber?
Yeah, somebody's laid it up. Yeah, they've done a nice job. It actually landed very nicely, but it's got a long tail wheel on it as well, the stooge on it.
Very nice.
Very
Now,
nice.
is that rudder adjustable, or is it a Raby rudder?
It's an adjustable one, not a raid rudder, just plain out adjustable.
And I like all those half ribs. That's pretty cool.
I do too. That's what I like about mine is the half ribs, and that looks a lot like the same design as mine. So somebody had the same ideas as the Walter Umland version.
Yeah.
You know what I like about mine? Ain't no half ribs.
Yeah, I don't know who made the horn, but it looks very well made. Looks like it was professionally cut.
Is it set 1-to-1 on the elevator to flap ratio? It looks like you're in the same hole.
Yeah, basically, there's a slight difference. The elevator horn slightly lower down.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell on the camera.
Yeah, very slightly, but yeah, it's all tracked nicely. Other one I got.
That plane.
It's got a shorter tail than mine does. I mean, a vertical stabilizer.
Well, that's the other model that I got from Marcel as well. And this is another model that's retired. And I call it a pizzazz. It's a local design by a guy called Owen Rogers. Very light for a big 550-inch area. It's only 45 ounces, all ready to fly.
Wow.
Yeah, very.
That's a good, comfortable size for me. 45-ounce plane.
It's got the LA46, but I didn't get a chance to test that one on the weekend. Maybe next weekend. We were all just trying to fly in the little window we had, so could only fly so many planes. We bought five planes with us and flew five planes, but couldn't squeeze in many more flights. Alina, but she gave away her flight so that we could get a few more with the boys.
I got something interesting to show y'all.
All right.
All right. Here's the insides of a Tower 40 that a guy in my club gave to me. He got from somebody in Dallas that they use this, I think, on a Pathfinder. And, it's a good stunt engine. So, I mean, you can see the guts, nothing wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
I know not really wore out. Piston, the little discolored, whatever. Here is a Tower 40 I got off of eBay a couple of months ago for like $20 that had that combat setup and whatnot.
Yep.
Check out the guts on this one. It's all like chromed out.
Wow.
Like the liner, the piston, even the crankshaft in there. It's like all new, like all freaking. And what I was gonna do, because I needed a metal backplate for my 46 LA, I was gonna rob it off of this one. And then when I took off the backplate and I looked in there, I'm like, oh, that looks too nice. I'm putting that back on there.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this thing might have been reworked or just, it just might be all totally replacement. But it looks 10 times better on the inside of this combat engine than it does on that one.
Yeah, if you ever take it apart, you can look at the ports and see if anybody's been grinding on them, possibly.
And they got a number like laser etched on the bottom, 10199, whatever that means. It might be October 1st, 1999.
Yeah.
Laser S?
But I say laser etched. It's somebody scribed it in there.
Yeah.
Look, the combat guys go through so many motors. They often number their motors so that they can keep check on their motors. I know that from the little experience I've had with combat flying.
And so, I mean, I figure, this actually might be a good runner. I ain't never ran it.
Yeah, it might be.
I probably end up sticking it on this thing.
I can tell a lot just by flipping it. You can tell how snappy it is. That's indication.
Oh, it ain't bad. From what I remember, it ain't bad. I had a 46 LA I was looking at the other weekend that I had. Something I got cheap from somewhere online. I don't remember. And I put fuel in it, just threw a random prop on there just to pop it, just to see the compression and whatnot, because I was thinking about bringing it to the field to put on, I think, that Mentor I have. And whenever I would turn it like half stroke, like when the piston halfway up the cylinder, it would kind of catch and grind a little bit, and then it would go to the top end. So I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know what the hell that could be. So I took the back plate off and I squirted a little bit of fuel and I worked a little bit, put on the prop, and it's probably got the strongest compression of all my engines now.
Wow.
I guess.
So you didn't really find anything wrong. You just took it apart and put it back together?
I just took the back plate off.
Yeah.
I just took off the back plate. That was it. And apparently, they might have had some caster or something built up in a spot. I don't know. And
might have had a gudgeon. Sometimes the gudgeon pin sticks and you can't see it. There can be lube floating around it, but unless you actually get oil on the gudgeon pin, or wrist pin,
it could have been over tightened and causing the crankcase to be a little off center. Okay.
I had an engine like that was tight in the center of the stroke, not at the top, not at the bottom of the stroke. And the giveaway was it was an XRC engine, and somebody had whacked it in so hard into the ground, the carb had gone back into the cylinder and distorted the liner. It was a K&B 45 Sportster. It had hit so hard that it had not only ripped the boss off where the carb goes, but it had put a dent in the liner. And when I pulled it apart, some of the internal flutes in the liner were broken.
Wow.
Yeah, that's RC flyers. Must have hit something pretty hard, either rock hard dirt or hit concrete. And what I did though is I just scraped the liner, because on the K&B Sportster they don't use a chrome bore, they use a chrome piston. And where it was distorted, I scraped it and took out the broken pieces of metal inside it and thought, well, I've got nothing to lose, and I just made up a Venturi for it, and I've been running it quite nicely. It's been running. It's still got good compression. It's just taken away the rough spot in the middle of the stroke. But that was just a wonder that it actually worked. Really, I suppose it came to a sudden stop. So
I'm surprised the crankcase itself, at least the cylinder part of it, wasn't out of shape after taking a whack like that. But
well, I think because it had the flutes running down it, the liner it would have hit the side of the case where one of the transfer ports were, and it broke off some of the internal flutes inside the liner. So it had like veins inside the liner, and it had broken one of the veins off and distorted it. And after I just scraped off the part where I could see it was rubbing, it was fine after that. But it is missing one of its internal flutes.
Bob Bishop just joined us, and so did Pat from Pat's Place. So welcome, guys. Pat says, fun stuff to listen to, Rusty. I found the Brodak website and saw they've modified the old favorites like the Little Wizard and the Little Satan. Sure is getting tempting to get back into the hobby. Yeah, it is. Pat, you need to get your table cleared off and put an order in.
Yeah, please do.
And send me money.
Not him. John Brodak money.
John Brodak stood me supporting the hobby anyway. Everybody talks about what's on at Brodak, so if we went for Brodak, I'm sure that would be a lot worse off.
Bob asks if the Little Wizard was the Nets band half-A trainer. And I do not know.
I do not know. I know that it was one of the first wooden planes I flew after I had my Cox PT-19.
I think I've got a Little Wizard box on the shelf in my shop, but it's actually empty. Somebody must have just given me an empty box, or I took it off somebody's hands.
You can always go on eBay and buy the little Satan boxes, the empty boxes of the little Satan kit. They sell them things for like $10. It's like, why? Why that much?
Well, some kids couldn't afford to buy one, so it'd be the same thing, have an empty box.
Be the coolest kid on my block with an empty box.
I think I threw my Carl Goldberg empty Satan box away. I had used it as cannibalized bits and pieces for years, and then finally decided to build it from what was left. And there wasn't a lot left. I actually call it scratch built because it pretty much mostly is scratch built.
Interesting.
Gerald, you're a man of many engines. I got a Thunder Tiger 25.
Oh, yeah.
That's it's got this little insert on the Venturi. I guess there you see it.
That's it.
And I hear it's a workhorse. It's a machine.
Yeah. There's one there.
All right, so you would know if I ask you about this, because you can see like you got their remote Venturi set up in the back, little combat Venturi. But when I tighten a prop on it and turn it over, it will not turn. It's like very rough. Now is there supposed to be a seal or a washer in between right here?
Yes.
It's supposed to be something in between here, because I mean,
that's a ball bearing engine, right?
Yeah.
That bearing shouldn't be exposed. It should have the front seal still on it, I believe, and maybe the rear seal removed. I'm not sure what the protocol is for different engines on removing those plates, but I believe that front one ought to be on there because it's wide open for dirt and anything else. And you can fly it like that, but if you ever do get the nose of it dirty in an accident, then don't try to turn the engine until you take it apart and wash it out, dry it, and re-oil it.
Yeah,
the other thing,
go ahead.
Sometimes if they've had a good whack, what's actually happened is the crankshaft's moved on the bearings and it's pushed back, and the drive wash will grate on the front of the case, and then you have to take the back plate off and then whack the shaft back in if it's taken a good crash. But yeah, sometimes they've got no washer in between them, and the front bearing is opened on some of the cheaper motors. You'll have an open front bearing, and it's just the drive washer protecting the bearing. All those bearings are ready to gobble up the dirt, as you say, Rusty. But yeah, I've seen it vary a lot between different engines. Some of them are really well sealed, and you can't get any oil in there. Others are open. You can virtually just pour oil down it once you've taken the drive washer off to lube them up.
That one Jamie showed us is similar to my Thunder Tiger Pro 25, I think, and it's
that's what this one is. It's a Pro 25.
okay. Yeah, I replaced the bearings in my Thunder Tiger Pro, and I'm pretty sure I left that front seal on and took the back one off. And on the internal bearing, I don't remember for sure, but I think I took both seals off. I don't remember for sure though. But Boca Bearings will tell you the best way to do it.
Yeah,
If you got
I
videos
can turn it over like it is with the drive washer on there. I can turn it, and pop. As soon as I tighten a prop to it, it don't turn. It's very stiff.
Well, you might have put a drive washer on it. There might be a mismatch of parts, or the bearing hasn't been installed properly.
Yeah,
But I mean,
there will be a
it's a
mismatch.
running engine. That's the funny thing. I got it from Dane Martin, and it's a running engine. So I'm just not sure. I ain't asked him about it yet. I just ain't sure. I just don't know. I don't know if there's supposed to be something in there to where it don't have this drive washer going completely against the case when you tighten up on it.
I can't see it that clearly because the picture is a bit fuzzy. But
let's see. There's the drive washer off right there.
Because it looks like the bearing's not properly seated, actually.
It's not all the way in, is it?
Yeah, it looks like it's out too far. Yeah.
I mean, there's a good side view. Right
No, I think it ought to be flush with the case.
Yeah. They might have put the wrong bearing in.
Put the drive plate on, and if it'll go far enough on, or a dry plate, and stack a couple of washers, and then take a socket or something and tap it back in. Unless it's got dirt behind it, stopping it from going.
Yeah, or they might have replaced the bearings and put in the bearing that was too wide.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Because, I mean, the drive washer goes, completely all the way against it. Like,
no, there should be room for
it should be something
a
in
thrust
there.
washer between the drive plate and the nose.
Might have had a spacer washer there or something too. Yeah, it's probably one to show modelers.
You might be able to find an exploded view of the motor, maybe on the Thunder Tiger website.
I've got one. If you can't find it, let me know if you can't find it, and I'll copy the one I've got. I got the whole Thunder Tiger 25 book.
I mean, I have the option of keeping it, using it, or sending it, mailing it back, and getting a 25 FP, which is what I might probably end up doing.
That's a strong engine. Yeah, I mean, you can put that anywhere that you run a 35.
Yeah, they're a brilliant motor. It's my son's model that this one's on, and he really loves that motor. It's got a lot of hours on the motor, but it just still pulls strong. It goes really well.
It was way overpowered for my shoestring, 32-ounce shoestring. I think I had too big of a Venturi, but I'm not sure. I didn't know much about it at the time. And it's got a sprinkler style Venturi on it. And does that one have a sprinkler style where the spray bar is mounted behind the hole and actually is part of what retains the Venturi, Jamie?
Okay, there goes.
Light that up.
Yeah, it's in the back.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that is the same motor.
My one's got one of my custom Venturis with a bit of tube knitted down and a side entry needle valve like I normally do. But on my son Otto's model, it's actually based on a combat wing. It's a combat wing with a fuselage attached, so it's very rugged.
Oh, you know what else, Jamie? You also want to gusset the landing gear where in the fuselage. I gusseted mine too. put some triangles in front of that.
Let's see. In fact, I don't know if that was added. If I can see this thing, I don't remember if I added it or if it came like that. But I think it was probably me because I got 2 hardwood blocks. Let's see if you can see it. You see it right under it?
Yeah.
And
but I mean, guess at the top of it, kind of going from that hardwood forward, a triangle. So that because the landing gear will want to if you do a hard landing, it's going to want to push out. So you want to kind of gusset it so it.
So pretty much, let's see, there we go. So pretty much from like right here, a gusset.
Yeah, but if you got to save room for your tank to go in.
Yeah,
but you want to gusset it.
You know what will fit perfectly in an unmodified compartment in a Nobler anyway is the Dubro 4-ounce clunk tank with the forward pointing tubes, but it fits like it's made for it, which is also a perfect size for a 35 engine.
Yeah, I didn't make my tank, but my tank was custom made for my Nobler. I needed like 5 ounces, so.
Yeah, you needed a little bit more probably.
I had a Super Tiger 46 in it at first. Then I ended up with an LA 46.
Yeah, you definitely needed more fuel.
Yeah.
So these flap horns are a no-go then, I'd imagine.
What?
These flap horns that it comes with.
No-go.
Okay. I'll put them in a ring master.
And don't even use the blind nuts. The blind nuts are crap.
Damn it, I was about to mount the wing too.
Well, you know, those ones that go through the wing are not that critical because you're going to glue that wing in anyway. Don't use just the screws and nuts to hold it in.
I think that was going to be one of my next questions. You know, do y'all epoxy y'all wing all the way in, or?
Yeah, those screws and nuts I think are just to aid you in assembly, and then you leave them in after it's built. But they're not a dependable way. Although some people do it that way, I don't think it's a dependable way to leave the plane.
They reinforced it more. I've seen one guy on the forum. He had a lot of pictures on how he modified it to make it take it apart, but he didn't use those. But he reinforced them. Hey, Steve.
Hey, the only problem you have with if you don't epoxy and screw it in to make it a take apart is you got to be able to take the canopy off to get in there and unhook your push rod and stuff.
Which is still a pain in the ass.
Right. You know, that was gonna be the deal on the plane that we were gonna take to the World Championships that had the solid wing. Is that I'd made a canopy, started making the canopy for it like I used to for my RC ships because we had plug-in wings. So I had just a little button and the whole canopy came off and you could reach down in there and then take the wings apart. And unhook, because you had to unhook the servos and stuff like that. And we had 2 bolts that held it tight up against the side of the fuselage. Well, I was going to do something like that because that was something that we did all the time in RC for years. And then I was going to use the quick disconnect ball links. If you've seen them that Sullivan makes, you pull on the little thing and they'll pop off the ball. You pull it back and you stick it on and it locks it in place.
Yep.
That was my plan, but I didn't do it just for the reason is
you're smart.
No, we did the one with Chris Rudd instead. So
do you have the plane back, Steve?
We do. We flew it yesterday.
I'd like to see it.
All right, I'll go down and get it here in a second. But yeah, it flew really good.
Oh, good. That's great news.
He's never flown an airplane like that in her life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, it's excellent.
Right.
But yeah, in between the rain showers and stuff like that yesterday, we got wet and stuff, but put the plane away, get it back out. Put the plane away, get it back out. But I don't know, we got like 8 flights on it. Samantha got 4. Chris got 4. They would he'd fly it and then let her see what she thought on how it turned and how fast it turned and stuff like that. And then he watched the airplane from outside the circle and stuff so he could see what
How'd she like it?
she really does. I tell you what, that Igor setup, that is just crazy how you
With
can.
the logarithmic control horns?
Pardon me?
Has it got those logarithmic control horns that he makes?
No, he didn't put that in there. It's just, I don't know. He said he didn't think it was worth it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, that's a crazy looking system how that all works in there.
Yeah.
And
Somebody asked him on Stunthangar how those logarithmic controls worked, and he said it makes the rounds rounder and the squares squarer.
Wow.
yeah. But I don't know. Even Chris said it though. Samantha did a vertical 8, and he's like, "That's the best maneuver I've ever seen you do." I mean, it was close to a 40-pointer.
Wow.
That thing will groove. She's like, she said that once you set it into a loop or whatever, there was no having to go back and make small little adjustments and stuff.
Oh, that's great. It just grooves, huh?
It just grooves. And once we got the timer thing, whatever that is, in there adjusted, I could see it when Chris flew it, when Samantha flew it, that it didn't go slack on the lines, but you could really see it slow down. You could see them, have to think through it. And it gave it more power up to the top on that sensitivity deal. And you could see the airplane just, once even you did the top part of it, once you set it in there, it just grooved all the way through.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so pulls a little hard. It weighs about 63 ounces. I wanted to keep her at 55, but it is what it is with all the take apart system and stuff like that. It just adds about 4 or 5 ounces to it, and
Right.
so there isn't much you can do. So, well, hopefully we haven't flown it. It was probably about 5-mile-an-hour winds yesterday.
That's about perfect.
Yeah, that was a perfect deal for the wind. And it was dead a couple of the times, but we gotta see how hard it pulls in the wind.
Where were y'all, in Illinois?
Pardon me?
Where's Chris live? In Illinois?
Yeah, Aurora. You ever watch Wayne's World?
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
That's where that movie was filmed.
Oh, really?
Every time you go to Chris's house, we go by the White Castle.
Oh man, the famous White Cat.
And the steps are there at that one place, and we see them, But yeah, that's where that movie was filmed. Because I said something to Chris, I'm like, you know what? That movie Wayne's World, they eat at the White Castle. Looks just like the one there on the road. He goes, that's the one. He goes, they really filmed it in Aurora. They just didn't use the name. They really actually filmed part of the movie there. And some scenes, They were there for a day or two and then left and did the rest out in California. But
We used to have a pretty good movie industry down here, but I think one of our governors kind of ran them off.
They did the same thing here, but they were giving them all these tax rebates and shit like that, and it was costing the state a shitload of money in the end.
Well, the hours were adding to the quality of the University of South Carolina's theatrics programs. And
ours was too.
Win-win situation for us, but we've had some stupid governors.
Only thing, I forget how many millions in them so many years that the taxpayers put into that for them to make movies here. And it did help the U of M or whatever, and their theatrical or movie making stuff or whatever, but it's like, we give so much to these colleges anyway, state funded, all the state universities and stuff like that You know, it was just another give out, and everybody was like, "Wait a minute here."
Where's mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you can't even have good water to a town, but you can give out millions to the film deal, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
You know, so just for the
modeling. We're an art. We keep a lot of people happy and engaged in many activities, but we don't really get the charity money like the more well-known sports and arts get.
But it's like, I don't know. I'd rather, when all that was going on, the parks in Grand Rapids, I mean, some of them had pools and stuff like that. They were shutting down all the pools, not mowing all the parks, you know, everything in the park, letting the stuff, you know, they put up these signs, you know, up here by me about wildflowers and stuff back like it was, you know, 500 years ago or whatever, the same kind of trees. I don't give a shit. Mow the park. We want to have fun in it. But they just try to use that bullshit like, hey, look at what we're going back to nature. No, you don't want to mow this and let us use it. You want to make it a woods again.
Yeah, well, that's the same everywhere. It's just it's a green vote, and a lot of parks that we used to fly in have got trees in them now, which is probably good for the environment, but not good for flying your planes. But public parks here in New Zealand are a bit of a no-no, really. We really have to use a private school, get their authority, or fly in other sports grounds where they're not public, where you can keep people out of it, which is unfortunate because in the past when you put a public park, it attracted people in. But nowadays it's probably more hassle than it.
The problem is that we have huge state forests and national forests here in Michigan. Monster tracts of it. The UP, I don't know, 50, 60%, maybe more, is federal and state forests. So we have plenty of trees. I mean, they can leave us a little place to play badminton or volleyball, put up a volleyball net. You know, I mean, they make it to where you can't even do none of that stuff now. And it always, you know, we go and have a cookout at the park, set up a volleyball net. You know, they had a ballpark, you know, a diamond there and stuff like that. And you could play softball or baseball or whatever you want to do. And now they're taking it all out and planting trees because it costs them too much money for upkeep.
Hey, Charles. Hey, what's going on?
You think I should rebend the landing gear and make the one that's going inside the fuselage a little longer than a 1/4 inch?
Yeah. But you gotta be careful. Your tank's gonna be there, so you have a limit.
It's only got to go in as deep, as thick as the wood is. If you got a 1/4 inch of wood, a 1/2 inch worth of steel sticking out through it, ain't gonna help you none. For strength.
Oh, you know what? That wire is so flexible. I changed mine.
Oh, okay.
And then I put a brass sleeve in that hole, so the wire wouldn't wear it out. So I put like a 1/8 inch wire, and I put a brass tube in there.
Thank you so much for the.
So does the tank normally go underneath where the landing gear is?
Well, I had a big tank, so mine did. I don't remember how the stock tank went in there. I don't remember.
Hopefully she's.
You feel like going to get your plane out of the basement? These guys can see it.
Because I added bearers underneath where the landing gear goes. That way I could drill down further and put longer to make it stiffer. But that shit's already epoxied in there. Oh, I mean, now the stock tank, it fits in there. You know, I got it. You know, it's inside.
Good.
You know,
well, that's cool.
The thing of it is, how big is this stock tank? 4 ounces?
No, that one actually is.
I think it is.
I think it's a little bit more than 4 ounces, if I remember. Because it's tall, a very tall tank.
I know my 4 ounce tank that I had in it was not a. It wasn't kit supplied, so I don't remember. I never did see the plans for the plane either, so I don't know what was recommended.
I mean, I got the plans right here. I don't remember. It's been mess with this thing in like 7 months because I got a 6-ounce Sullivan, and that's just a little too fat. I mean, I could afford it. Actually, it would work, but
That stock tank would be okay. That white one you showed will be all right.
Let me click
I
on
mean,
that.
it's enough for, say, like if I want to use a Tower 40 or a 40 LA, or I know it ain't big enough for a 46.
Yeah, we can't read it.
Yeah, it just says 4 ounces anyway.
4 ounces.
It says 180 cc, so whatever the hell that is.
It takes, I don't know if the Brodak tank fits in it, but you can't fit too many tanks in that Nobler there.
No.
Just they don't fit right.
You know what 180 cc's is? It's 6 ounces, Jamie.
Is it really?
And according to this internet website, 180 cc's equals 6.8652 ounces.
30
probably a leftist website. It probably ain't true.
30 cc to an ounce.
Left this website.
I couldn't help
Right at
myself.
6.
All right, well, hang on. But you know what? That
All right, there it is, Charles.
Oh, let me click on you. Hang on. All right.
it probably looks better if she's holding it though instead of you.
Oh, that is pretty.
Got
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
nice. I like that.
but we already got hanger rash.
Don't let that cigarette burn a hole in the wing.
Um,
Oh, that is nice.
I actually put a hole through it and fixed it. And when Chris was putting in, I told him about trying to put that ESC down in there, that if your screwdriver slips, this is so thin, I poked a hole, he did the same thing. That we gotta fix. But
That looks really good.
That does, yeah.
it looks really nice coming across the top with the bottom stripe.
Yeah. Yeah, with the blue on the bottom and red on top, or
Yeah, there's blue on the bottom. I don't know if the blue shows up good.
I can tell it's blue, I think. Yeah.
It's black,
When I see the
on the
glare
nose.
off of it, I can tell it's blue.
Yeah, it's black on the nose, and then
oh, that is nice. Oh, that is really nice.
you know,
Someone said,
Yeah,
why are you
perfect.
holding it at me? I'm really right here, but you're in.
who said that?
I don't know. That's what person said.
Oh, what you want her to hold it?
Oh yeah,
Probably
I said
better-
it's like it looked better if she was holding it.
Oh,
Tell her to take a cigarette out of her mouth.
She's having a better deal. I'm gonna hand it back to her out this door,
I'm taking it back once you're
so it doesn't get dinged, or we don't need any more.
Wow, that looks really good.
Yeah.
We're
Hey.
really good at putting dents and shit. I'm the best denter putter in it. Oh, she's hugging her airplane. You can't see it.
What does SL stand for on the rudder?
Samantha Lynn.
Okay.
Oh, don't. Oh, that was a secret.
Uh,
Oh, so now it's on YouTube.
believe it now.
I know your secret now.
Pat says he's in Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Well, the whole thing was, it says Sammy Special on the wing. And it was just going to be, because it's kind of a partial of a copy of a Peregrine or whatever, but I was going to put SS on the tail, or we were. And they said, you can't have SS on the tail, take it to France.
Well, as long as it's not, sharp cornered S's.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, little lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we end up putting SL. But most all of our other airplanes, if you look at the last 3 or 4, they all got SL on the. Hey, you can't fill up my room with your stuff.
I cleaned it out, so I'm.
No. You cleaned it out because I told you to clean it out. She just went and bought all kinds of stuff for her dorm room, and now she wants to store it in my. You can store it in your room.
Oh, Jamie, the tank, if you cross-reference it in the Brodak book,
In the basement.
it shows the tank as being 1 inch by 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. So it's got the actual dimensions of the tank.
Oh, in the Nobler instruction book, it says it.
Oh, in the guide for the parts that you need, it tells you you need a BH482 tank, and that tank, it gives you the dimensions, and the dimensions are 1 1 inch high, 1 3/4 wide, and 4 3/4 inch long. They're the dimensions of the tank shown for the Nobler. That's just going off the old Brodeck book.
Yeah, but the Brodeck doesn't sell that plane. That's the top flight plane.
Yeah, they got different widths of the fuselage there.
Sorry, I'm stuffing you up then. I'm going off the Brodeck ready to fly.
Yeah. Yeah, the Brodeck sells the original Nobler kit, but that's the top flight, which is very close.
Does Brodeck sell a Nobler ARF?
No.
Or is it a top flight that they sell?
Top Flight was the only one that made the ARF. They own the rights on that, I guess. That's why John doesn't do anything.
Yeah, they did the top of the flight streak in the after Nobler. There's a ton of them around here in New Zealand. I should have remembered that, yeah, that it was the top flight one. But yeah, there are a lot of them circulating. It's like virtually every stunt contest you go to, there's one of those blue models again. So they're very popular.
I had the metal tank in mine.
Yeah,
and it worked great until it started leaking.
Oh.
And then I went and got online and bought the plastic tank they use now, and I never could get the damn thing to ever run right after that.
Okay. So I had the metal one at first, and I emailed Top Flight and told them the tank was too small to do the pattern, and then they sent me that white tank that comes automatically now.
Yeah.
When you get into ARF, it has the new tank.
Did you get a good motor run with yours with that plastic tank?
You know, it's all a blur to me. I did so many different changes to that Nobler. I even changed motors. You know, but when I finally at the end, when I had my LA 46 with a custom-made tank, had a fabulous motor runs.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely fabulous.
Because what I did was I fixed the metal tank. Call Grandma, and then put that back in, and then I put a Inya 35 Stunt, that 25 size motor they made into a 35.
Right.
And I can get the whole. Well, Samantha can. I can't. She can get the whole pattern in with that motor because it doesn't use as much fuel.
Okay.
But it was a deal to where I had the best run I had on it was with that Evolution 36, and you had to add tail weight and stuff to it, but it ran really good. But you had to lean it out to make the whole pattern, and then you better be ready to land when you come out of the clover.
And don't waste any laps. I mean, make sure you.
No, you didn't get any wasted laps. You didn't get any laps to unwind your lines.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, so when you take off, and that first lap, that really is not your first. That's supposed to be. I mean, then you count 5 laps from there, or did you just count 4 more laps when you came back to the?
We launched before. We made sure we launched like 15 feet before the judges, so the wheels were off the ground, and that starts it right away.
Okay.
If you start after the judge, then it starts when you pass the judge with the wheels off the ground. So we just always started before, and we'd save 3/4 of a lap or whatever. But it was a deal to where Gary Lutz flew it in a contest, and he really liked it, and Jeff Traxler, I think, took second at the Nats with it or whatever.
Wow.
But you had to fly it at 5-second laps because there was not enough fuel for that 36.
Wow.
But Samantha was flying it in beginner and stuff where you didn't need that much fuel.
Yeah. All right.
You know, so, but a Fox 35, you could have flown it on there and stuff, and that's what it was designed for.
I'm not gonna lie, they could have came up with a better cow than this shit. In my non-experience,
I still have one extra one left.
I got 2
a
of them.
lot of cooling holes in my cowl.
I got 2 of them. They're 2 different colors. the cowl that came in the plane's almost purple. The cowl's blue.
Yeah.
I feel like I got a refurbished rifle here, you know, like freaking Arsenal refurb rifle. It just makes parts thrown together. Here you go, fly it, have fun.
Yeah. None of them match.
No. It's like I guess the saddle here for under the wing is I guess I might have to sand it some to get it to fit better.
Looks like it.
Is man, it'll touch in the back, but it ain't touching in the front, and oh.
You couldn't even see my parting line on my saddle. I filled it in and.
Yeah.
What else? What I did was I took a thin piece of sandpaper and taped it on the wing, and then sanded that into the wing.
Pretty good. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful not to go too far, because if you make it fit with the sandpaper, it'll now be short when you take the sandpaper out.
Yeah.
So, but you'll get that the wing in there. And what I found is that it wasn't off that much. It was just that there was a place in the wing that was a little high, holding everything up. And once I got that one part sanded in, then it fit real nice. But it's been a good airplane. The covering won't stay tight, but besides that,
I mean, look, I could fit one cowling inside the other one. That's how much bigger one is than the other one.
will it do it the other way?
Not as much. It won't go all the way. But the other one, I can go all the way in with it, pretty much.
Well, the one thing is that save the bigger one to try first, because it depends on how long your motor sticks out, how far that thing's got to go back up over the fuselage.
Yeah. Like I said, I got two of them, so when one dies, I'll just take the controls out of it, put it in the other one, and if it dies, then, well, it dies.
Yeah, because I forget when I had whatever. Oh, it was the when I had that 36 in there, it fit real nice, and then the other motor has a shorter nose on it, and I had a hell of a time. I ended up sanding on the fuse and stuff to get the other one back in there far enough so that the spinner didn't hit. Oh, you got two of them things, huh?
Yeah, I got two of them. This one actually, the wing is actually blue. That one it's more of a purplish blue.
That's monocoat for you.
Oh yeah.
That's China coat.
Yeah.
I don't think it's China coat. I think it's Monaco because that's Top Flight.
You're right. It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, if anybody wants kind of a orangish see-through monocoat color, I can give you a few 100 feet of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I win.
I'm in.
Are you really? You guys want some of it?
I'll take 100 feet.
What it is that monocoat used to be made about 5-6 miles from me.
No way, really?
Yeah. It was made in Sparta, Michigan. And that was back when it was good. Well, we'd go there, and if the color wasn't quite right back then or something like that, they throw these huge rolls of monocoat away.
Oh, man. Wow.
You know what? Look, I'm actually
dumpster diving for monocoat.
You sound like the everyday control line guy right there.
Yeah. You must be a stunt flyer.
Yeah, you fought stunt. Because my first little Satan I did in that transparent orange, and this is part of the wing that's left.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to see what I got left of it. I've been giving it away.
Watch, Charles. We're going to have 3 feet, and we're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah.
I'm 6. You're like 5'2", so.
Yeah, I'm 5'5", 225.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", 280, so you got the edge on me.
Yeah. And it's like, see that orange plane there? I might be able to use it on that.
That'd make a nice nobler wing with that. Because one of them I'm going to keep blue, but I'm going to add different colors to it. And the other one I was thinking of stripping it and just totally redoing. And before I get off, Y'all remember this thing? Y'all remember that orange and blue ringmaster?
Yeah,
That I had in my videos and whatnot.
right.
What the hell? Well, let's just say my medication kicked in good Saturday, and I completely stripped it.
Very cool.
I stripped the entire thing. I tore out center sheeting. This bell crank looked like it's made from an old Schlitz can. The nose is actually cracked. Where I had crashed it and repaired it, it actually moves. So I'm going to put some biscuit joints in it and redo it. And I think I might try my first hand at doping and silk spanning with it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah,
It's a better, as raunchy as it is, it's a better fly than that Brodak one I got.
That plane looks pretty good in the nude.
Yeah, most ladies do.
Yeah.
Most.
We've got a model ready for the Ringmaster-a-thon in October then.
And I mean, I was going to be done with the Ringmaster, no more Ringmaster. And I just kept looking at him like, oh, yeah, it's that orange and blue. It needs to go. So
I was just given a ringmaster. I think it's yellow and blue.
like that one was yellow. In fact, I'm going to screen share right quick.
Yeah, I don't know where the others. I got some maroon, but I got this.
Oh, that's a pretty.
It's not even on a roll or anything.
That was that Ringmaster when I got it. That's what it looked like.
Wow.
But I got.
And 2 flights later, it got
I have to find it. I got a huge one. It's kind of a maroon, but it's the same kind of see-through opaque, but a little bit of a purplish color, and I don't know. But that's in a roll about. It was in a roll about that big, but.
Wow, a roll that big? Wow.
But I just give the stuff away all the time, and because last year I burned up like 7, 8 airplanes, and just got rid of a lot of stuff because my whole basement is filled with airplanes.
I can only imagine. I mean, I just got back in this hobby just 14 years ago, and you've been doing it straight the whole time, right?
With ours, no, actually, I stopped from around 85, no, 95, because I got divorced. And that pretty much took all my flying money. And I got back into it 2002 or 3.
Okay, well, we sound very similar.
So
I got back
a little bit of a break in there with RC. And then
I'm trying to raise a little girl. I need Monaco, damn it.
when I get back, well, I think I'm gonna try to go to Brodak. We're hopefully leaving Wednesday.
Oh, very good.
Wednesday at work, they're just giving me a bunch of shit about it. Because I got 2 weeks in July there for the World Championships, and
well, they'll get over it. What are they gonna do? Fire you?
Yeah, what can they do? Fire me? I'm already part-time.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. It just I love working with the apprentices and stuff like that, but it's like, oh my God. It's just hard to believe all the stuff they don't know. And it's probably stuff they'll really need to hardly ever know because they're doing so much stuff different now. They're just running into old shit that's, we've done for 25 years before they were born and stuff.
Right. They'd probably just assume replace it then fix it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's time to upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, they no sense fixing it, just replace it.
Get the salesman over there.
Well, I was like, we had a couple journeymen working on a rooftop, some rooftop units and stuff, and they called me because they're having all these kind of problems. They told me about it, and oh yeah, I can't get no voltage here and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, it doesn't send the voltage to the thermostat first, and they're like, what? No, they all send the voltage to the thermostat first. I said, no, that's not how they used to do things because. You leaving us? Yep, I guess so.
Oh, well.
Because
bye, Jim.
Everything was heating units or cooling units. And then they started adding air conditioning on to factories and all this kind of stuff. So when they used to do it that way, it went to the parts, and then after it was through all the safeties and stuff, it went to the thermostat. Well, now everything goes to the thermostat first, then comes back through, depending on if it's air conditioning or heating, which safeties it goes through. So
yeah, my best friend used to. Well, he retired from Train last July after 40 years of working on industrial HVAC, and that's the way he was. He was the only guy they had that could work on the old stuff, and they had some ancient machines that were still working great.
cooking away, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with any of the new guys they were hiring either.
Well, what it is that you go to school and they show you, okay, here's how things are done. But they don't have any of the old stuff there to say, this is how it used to be done.
Yeah.
They think that stuff is gone and is no longer around. You know, once I explained to them how it worked, they went through, they said, oh, that's really easy that way. Yeah, it really is, because no matter air conditioning, heating, it goes through all the safeties the same way instead of splitting them and different timers and all this. Everything was done, I think, simpler, but you know, it was just a deal to where if you lose your heating, you lose your cooling, or if you lose, you know, your cooling, you could lose your heating. And
what brand do you mostly handle?
it depends on what part of Michigan you're in. Train is big on some. York is big on other parts. Carrier. I like Carrier stuff myself. That's my favorite.
Gary always said York wasn't worth a shit.
They do stuff a little bit. You know, York is actually the biggest manufacturer of heating and cooling equipment in the world.
I had a York residential unit, but the heat exchanger only lasted, well, right at 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know how many years ago it was, but I mean, that's a long, if it was a,
it was a gas pack residential.
Was it a condensing one or just a regular, vet through a metal pipe, or was it the plastic ones now?
No, the heat exchanger?
No, the furnace itself. Was it high efficiency or was it just normal efficiency?
I get it was high efficiency as of 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Or 18 actually. I think the one I got on here might be pushing 10 too. So it could have been 20 years ago. Hell, so probably not all that high efficiency.
Oh, okay.
The heat exchanger looked like it was made out of thin metal.
Yeah, what happens with that is that we call it bumping the limit. They won't put in enough air vents for the furnace, so it blows really hot air. Everybody's like, "Oh man, feel how hot that is coming out of the register." You know, they like to stand on them back in the old days and warm their feet up and all that kind of stuff. But when you do that, it really attacks the metal. You're heating that metal up really hot and then cooling it off, and heating it up, cooling it off. And a lot of these places, the furnace will actually shut itself off because it's getting too hot, bumping the limit. But if you keep them down to the low side of the range, these damn heat exchangers don't break. But you got to have bigger ductwork to move the air and all that kind of stuff. But most of all that stuff that fails, we know why it fails. You know, we got a brand new train unit. I think it's 6 years old, which ain't nothing for a new unit. Lost its heat exchanger this winter. Now it lost a compressor. They got 5 vents for a 7.5 ton air conditioning, 120 BTU furnace. I told the guy, I got more vents in my house than you got in your building here. And we're just not moving the air through it that you need to move through there to keep things right. But they don't want to spend the money on ductwork, so they buy new new compressors and
Yeah.
heat exchangers. You know, and basically,
Pat says his AC is still going after 40 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
If
He says
it's
Brian.
sized, if it's sized right and everything is running where it should be, then things last forever.
Yeah. Is Bryant a name you recognize?
Yeah, that's Carrier. That's
Oh, that's what Pat says he has.
yep. You got Carrier, Payne, and Bryant, and Day and Night. Day and Night's more in Texas. You don't see them north. Them are the four that are painted different colors. And then Carrier owns Comfort Master. Oh shit. There's like 5 other names of them. And they own all of them, and that's built in another factory. But it's still owned by Carrier, done the same way. They're just 2 different factories. They look different. It's all about patents. You know, it's like Coleman, that's York.
Oh, is it really? Yeah. Okay.
Luxair. People love Luxair but hate York. It's made by York. It's painted different color. I'm trying to think how many York owns. I think now Dakin bought out most of all that stuff. So when you see Dakin around, they bought up a lot of things. So
I think when Gary was working on Train, they went to, I guess they were bought by Ingersoll Rand or something like that. It was complicated.
Ingersoll Rand owns Train. Johnson Controls.
Yeah.
They own York and them. You got Carrier, and then you got Dakin, and Dakin bought out I can't even think of the name. Stuff more industrial stuff that you guys wouldn't know the names of.
Yeah.
But they bought, there's like 4 main players, and then you still got Lennox down in Texas. But all these things have all combined. So when you buy one, you're just about buying them all. I mean, everything but Train has Copeland or Bristol compressors in them. Train still makes their own stuff, which is GE. Because Train bought out GE and started using their compressors and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the only thing nice about that is you can call like 5 or 6 different supply houses and get the same part because they're all made by the same company. But yeah, but they're all good. I don't like Train up here because of their micro coils, which are real efficient. But we have dogwood. I don't know if anybody else have dogwood trees.
Yeah, we do.
And it throws off lint, like crazy. It'll just cover the yard and everything else. It gets in the micro coils, and it's just so hard to get out. And the ones they had before that were the porcupines, and they went away from that because you could not clean the dogwood out of them porcupine coils. They'd get in there, and no matter what you did, you couldn't get it out, and the things would run hot and everything. But I like Carrier, Payne, Bryant up here, but Train stuff is good, but it's got to be in a clean environment, and it's very efficient.
Yeah.
But a lot of people still run them up here, but they spend a lot of money. We make a lot of money cleaning them all the time. Yeah, it's like Ford and GM, and I mean Chevy and GM and Pontiac, or not Pontiac anymore, but Buick. All that stuff is, kind of all made together.
Pontiac gone now.
Yeah, Pontiac and Oldsmobile's gone.
Yeah, we've got Oldsmobiles and Pontiacs, but hard to get parts now.
Mercury's gone. Still see some Mercuries around on the road yet, but You know, Ford got rid of Mercury.
Enough profit in it. How about Lincoln? Lincoln's still going though, isn't it?
Yeah, when Dodge got away, they canned Plymouth. That was all what 2006, 7 there when they.
That's when the Intrepids used to be Plymouth, and then they changed to Dodge. We had a '96 Dodge Intrepid, and I think the '95s might have been Plymouths.
Yeah, and what was crazy was that Intrepid. That was actually that AMC. That I can't remember what they called that there for a while. When Dodge bought out AMC, they were working on it, and it was like a Dodge thing together. And my cousin got a Chrysler Concorde, which was the same car, and it had a V6 engine in it that is hauled ass. But that thing got the best gas mileage. We just could not believe what kind of gas mileage that car could get with the horsepower it put out. But that went by the wayside.
These guys over on the tube are listing all the cars that have disappeared lately. And Duke Baker, that made me laugh out loud. He posted that. It's so far up, I don't even see it now. But yeah.
Checker.
Eagle. Checker cabs. Yeah.
They were made in Kalamazoo here.
That's some heavy duty cars.
It was crazy because I worked at a body shop when I don't think I was 19, 18, 19. I think I was 19.
Screen sharing.
When I was going to school, and we once in a while we get in checker cabs that had been whacked in an accident. And it's like if you pulled off a front fender, you had to get somebody to help you carry it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That was some heavy duty stuff, boy. Charles is screen sharing something. What is that, Charles?
Well, it's my flying field. Earlier we was talking about flying fields, and I was thinking, oh, let me show you where I fly at, which is like less than 15 minutes from my home.
Say, oh,
and
lock your door.
No, but she has a blue.
See that black vehicle there?
So are you?
Yeah.
That's my vehicle, and there's no one else there.
Is what?
That's during the week. And then here's some other shots of it. They're pretty nice.
Yeah, I've seen you fly at that field before on YouTube.
There's another shot of it. There's my plane, my Strega.
Yeah.
But that's where I fly. And
now, is that a soccer field, Charles?
Yes, it's a public park.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It's like we used to have all kinds of these around, and they just, I don't know, it costs too much money to take care of them. But it's like, man, where do we go to have fun anymore?
Yeah, I'm really fortunate to have this field. I've been flying here for like 3 or 4 years now, and no problems. But then I fly during the week in the mornings when no one's there.
Oh, okay.
Even like on holidays, the other part of the park is where all the pedestrians and picnic tables and stuff like that is at. So I'm not really encumbered by holidays. I mean, it could be, like Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. It doesn't matter. We can still fly there because no one's barbecuing in our vicinity. They're barbecuing on the other side of the park.
Okay. Yeah, we got one park in Grand Rapids, which is like where I grew up, but it's got like 10 or 15 soccer fields. Well, they won't let us fly on them. And there ain't never no one there.
Yeah, I know. That's really messed up when they won't let you fly there.
I mean, it's the most beautiful. That thing is so flat. The grass is so nice. It's got underground sprinkling. They mow it all, and there ain't no one ever there. There's no nets up, no nothing. It's like until it's soccer season. And once that's done, well, they still won't let us fly there. Just like, well, I can see if they're practicing soccer or whatever, that they got first choice, but the rest of the year, why can't we fly?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. There's a soccer field, really nice. I mean, I've flown there. It's like 40 minutes from my house, and the grass is like 3/4 of an inch high. I mean, it's flat. I mean, it's beautiful. You can actually just take off, keep your plane the plane
That's
down, and just fly on the ground. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
You can just stay, keep the rudder, just keep the elevator down a little bit. You just roll on the ground.
I think they should let us fly at golf courses.
Yeah, I'm always thinking that's a waste of money.
Pat just asked a question. If we use a remote release to fly alone, and I texted him back. I said, "Yeah, we call it a stooge." So,
Yeah, there was a picture of a stooge on those pictures I showed you.
oh, really?
Yeah,
There's all types of different ones. Some of them have a spring pin that you can put through a loop on the tail wheel, or lots of different ways. Some of them have a fork that stands up in front of the elevator, and I mean the elevator or the stabilizer, and holds it, and you pull a string and it collapses and lets the plane roll out. Lots of different designs.
Who was the one there in North Carolina that had the stooge with a servo hook to it, and he had a little thing in his pocket, and he pushed that button, and that servo goes zoop, and it dropped the two arms, and
That might have been Max Flow, but I'm not sure. I remember seeing it.
Yeah, you were there when he was there flying it, because he was testing it. You know,
So here's my stooge here.
Was that Max? That must have been. Or David. It wasn't David Smith. I don't really remember. Oh, click on Charles and make his picture big. And his plane is now sitting in one of the stooges that has the vertical bars that collapse when you pull the pin and let the plane free.
Yeah, I have like 4 anchors holding it down just for extra precaution. Then I have a concrete paver holding it down.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I have a string that goes out to the center of the circle. And
That's just a slab of wood with a hinge and a pin lock on it. Yeah.
Right.
The line. The biggest thing is don't get the stooge line wrapped around your ankles while you're flying.
That happened to me one time.
Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times.
Now, Charles, have you ever? Now, does your pin drop both of them at the same time, or one then the other?
One then the other, but you know what? I pull it pretty fast. I don't really have an issue with that. I've never had it come in on me because one released before the other. But
I had assumed that they were just together.
Get around to that and just put a joining wire to fix that. But it's like it's not an issue. I must have. I mean, I'm not kidding. I must have 1,000 launches on that stooge. I've flown my Strega. My Strega has like 377 flights. I flew my top flight score off there, my top flight tutor. I've flown like 3 Noblers off there. Flew a white green box Nobler off of that. And not to mention there's some other planes I flew off that. I mean, I got easy 1,000 flights successful, except for one. One successful, and I actually had inadvertently put the stooge line on top of my flying lines, and that's what the demise of my Nobler was, and that was a shame.
Well, we had one guy. He always had that one, and he used it over and over and over until I think it was last year, the year before, and he went to pick up the line. He picks the line up, and he stumbled, and he pulled it a little bit, and it pulled it out of one side and not the other. And the plane went across, almost hitting.
You know what I did? I staked my down line. So before I got to the circle, if the plane got away from me, all that would happen was it would break a prop because it wouldn't be able to get in the air. But when I got in the air with the stooge, when I crashed the Nobler, is because I didn't realize that the stooge lines was wrapping on top of that. Trying to find a picture of my Nobler, the doomsday pictures of the Nobler. Let me see here. But yeah, anyways.
I was kind of trying to figure out how you do a double pin so they both that or
you know, with me it'd be very easy to just use the one pin and just put a joining wire between the first column and the other column. Because when it lays flat, it's not going to be a problem for the wheel to run over, the tail wheel to run over it. It's a simple fix, and it's just unnecessary. That's why I haven't done it.
Okay, what we've been doing is that we've been just zip tying a piece of line, lead out wire to the tail wheel. But if your tail wheel ain't secured good enough, you can pull your tail wheel out, and that's what I heard about that.
Yeah,
But I've never had that happen yet. But I'm not 100% sure if it didn't fatigue one because the tail wheel fell off of one of Samantha's vectors. It's just gone. It's broke off there, and it's like,
yeah.
when did that happened?
I was always leery of that system. I always thought that was an accident waiting to happen. I thought that was just not a very good way of doing it. I prefer the arms in front of the stab.
I think it was John Paris that had his stooge mounted to his flight box, and then he forgot to step back when he flew, and during the landing, the wing hit the flight box.
Yeah, I've hit my stooge once with one of my planes. I learned that lesson. Yeah, as I'm taking off, this is not for competition, they're not officials. So I'm walking back away from. Yeah, so I set my stooge up at the outermost part of my circle, which is marked by cones, by the way. And then when I take off, I start walking back to the center where I have a center cone, and I'm far away. And that's because I did one time get entangled with my stooge line. So I was wearing some sandals which had like tire tracks on the bottom, and they just would grab anything, and it just grabbed my unbeknownst to me, it grabbed the stooge line, and as I was turning, I was just wrapping it around my ankles, and I was beginning to feel a little bit confined, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? So then I just stopped turning. I just did, vertical eights and figure eights and just stood still.
Yeah.
And then I landed the plane. I still had a little bit of slack to land the plane, but on hindsight, I should have flew upside down and then just turned the other way and unwind it, But that's hindsight,
Yeah, when you're in the moment, it's a little harder.
Yeah, I was thinking the whole time going, what am I going to do? And as I kept going around and around, I go, I got to do something. So I just did figure eights and vertical eights.
Yeah, with Jamie too. I'll find that other big thing of monocoat, the other color. I'll split that up with you guys and send you off some. So, and I don't know, Dick. I don't know. Some people they may still have 400 or 500 feet of it left. I'll find out.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we couldn't even give it all away.
Wow. Yeah, I'd like to use it for combat planes. For the most part, from here on out, I think I'm going to be painting. I'm planning on painting this Pathfinder, and because I hate all the covering lifting in different places and having to be careful cleaning the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's electric, it's not a big deal, but with glow, it's a nuisance. So I've tried, using acetone or trim solvent. I mean, all these things, they do help, but it's just too much maintenance for me.
Yeah, I think that electric's so nice that it doesn't get oil any place or whatever. Yesterday we were cleaning water off of it. I started sprinkling and wiping water off, but that's about the only time you clean them.
Motors.
What's that?
Does water bother your electric motors at all?
It didn't. I was afraid of it, but it's like, God, we had to fly the thing, and it has the spinner on it and stuff like that. So, and when we got done, we, check in the battery compartment, make sure there was no water getting in there, and it didn't seem like it did, but it run good and stuff. But yeah, I was worried about it, and Chris said, well, if it shorts anything out, I got extra stuff, we'll just change it out. But yeah, I'm like, damn, there's $500 worth of stuff here. I don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
Then if it would short out in the wrong place on a maneuver, you may lose the airplane too. But it seemed to be fine. Yes. I was impressed with the electric setup. What's the guy's name from RSM?
Eric Rule.
Eric.
Yeah.
Right, because he cut all the balsa for that plane.
Right.
And he wouldn't take any money for the balsa or the work he did to it.
Eric is
Tried to pay him. And he like, no. And he talked about the system, and he said Igor's is. He goes, he's tried all of them. Because that's the Cadillac of the electrics.
Wow. Yeah, Eric's a very intelligent person too.
Yeah.
Very smart, very, very, very funny. His Canadian dry humor is a cracker.
I didn't realize he was Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me he was from Canada.
Oh,
How
speaking of
is he,
Canadian,
Charles?
I watched a full pattern by Daryl Hodgson Plains the other day. Y'all have probably seen it because y'all are better about watching our friends' YouTube channels. But he flew a pretty damn good pattern on YouTube, full pattern. He would have gotten the pattern points. I don't remember what plane he was flying. Oh no, it was a Twister, and he really liked it. He really liked the airplane. I don't know where he got it, if he built it or what, but I'm glad to see Daryl has progressed from not being able to do multiple loops to flying a full pattern in a year or so.
To answer your question, Steve, Eric is in his 70s. I don't know how old he is, but he's
okay.
But he's a young guy at heart. He's a cracker.
Yeah, he's really nice. Oh, I know. I was gonna say to Gerald, I know you're building that Vector.
Yeah.
Keep the throw on them, the elevators and ailerons down to them as much as you can. I mean, from Samantha flying her Vector and stuff like that, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how touchy that Vector is compared to this new airplane." And from what Chris said, that's how David and all them, they figure that's fast. And she was flying planes that are even faster than that. But that's one reason sometimes I'm thinking she might have been even stalling it, trying to make some of these turns.
Giving it too much control, it will stall.
Yeah.
It'll actually, I mean, we call it stalling. It's actually taking the air off of the stabilizer a lot of times. Or
Well, it slows the airplane down a lot too.
Yeah.
You know.
You mean take the flaps down to like 30% and have the elevator still at like 45 degrees? I mean, 30 degrees and 45.
We've been flying more tail than flap.
Yeah, that's what seems to be happening now. More people are doing that.
And that's same with Samantha's new airplane too. We got more tail than flap in it. And so we came about with that through Dennis had a mission because he trying to explain how the airplane was flying and stuff like that. And we set up her first Vector from that electric with the push rod coming to the top of the flap horn, and on the opposite side we went to the elevator and then went down, and so we had more, which gave you more elevator flap. Samantha likes it better, but that might be what's making it more touchy. But on this new airplane, it will turn so sharp that it looks like Chris was taking it and bringing it up and just bang, flipping it. I mean, that fast he could flip it. So I know there's way enough control. And Samantha thought it was slow.
So back up for me. So the push rod coming out of the bell crank, it's on the top hole of the flap horn.
Yep.
And then the push rod going from the flap horn to the elevator, is that one on the same hole on the other side?
Yep.
Okay. And then on the elevator, which hole is it on the elevator? The bottom hole, or is it like an inch?
Well, a lot of these horns are pre-drilled. So it's like, the flap horn has, I use Tom Morris.
Right.
It's like the first hole is at at 3/4, and then the next one, you know, has that bend in it, and it comes up and it's 1 inch.
Right.
Then if you go back to the elevator horn, that's at 3/4. Well,
Okay.
when you move it to that hole, that's 3/4, 3/4, so that's 1-to-1
Right.
off of the whatever the flap does.
Right.
So whatever that 1/4 inch gives you over that 3/4 would be how you get more elevator without having the slider thing to where Samantha's new airplane has a slider one on it. So you can make it 1-to-1 if you wanted.
Right. I mean, my Trigger has a slider in it too.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. My Nobler had that also.
But it actually takes, Dennis being an engineer said if you go to the up to the top, the further you can go up on that flap horn, the less force it takes to move that.
Right, yeah, more leverage. Right.
More leverage on it. So he says then it gives you more leverage to your tail too for these planes with bigger tails.
Right.
But
Yeah,
yes.
modern stunters have huge stabilizers and elevators now.
Right. So
Yeah.
Samantha likes more tail than flaps. But you know, I guess it's nice if you had the slider one, then you could change it wherever you wanted it.
Yeah, right.
But it's like with this new airplane, and her vector and stuff flies good too. But on her old planes, when you did the wing over, and I see a lot of people doing this, it comes in, they pull up, and you can watch this airplane suck backwards. Like the wing still has lift in it.
Yeah.
And it'll suck backwards for a little bit and then travel straight up.
I've seen
Where
that.
you have more tail, it seems to come around and it doesn't do that sucking
That's interesting.
motion.
That's opposite what I would have expected, I think. It moves towards, okay, you're going normally, you turn up, and it sucks back, and then
Yeah, because when you
because
for some
if you
reason,
blow
yeah, I
the,
don't know
if
if it's
you blow
when
the
they come
vacuum
back
off the top of the wing, I would have expected to mush the other way.
Yeah, you'd think it wouldn't want, you know, because when you add flaps, you should think it would bring the nose down, and it gives you more lift, which picks, you know, it picks it up, and it's like when it makes that corner, it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
I see that a lot on these airplanes. I'll pick that up,
Interesting.
and I never see it on a non-flap airplane.
Might be too much flap causing it.
Yeah, or something. So we've been putting more tail in it just for that reason. But like on Mikey builds that Sig used to make it. I can't
Primary force.
Primary force and some of these other flapless airplanes. You never see when they turn that corner. You never see them move back.
I bet that's what it is. It's too much flap causing it to do that. Because the flap's pointed down, and that's the natural way the flap would want to push the plane until your inertia came back and overpowered it.
Yeah, so, but we're seeing better corners with a little more tail on the wing over and stuff.
Good.
But
Samantha's not flying too tentatively with the new plane, is she?
Oh yeah. Yep. We did everything, but only thing she hasn't did is with the clover, because it was raining. It was raining so hard every time she looked straight up.
Oh, water in her eyes.
It was getting water in her eyes, and so I'm like, you need to stop it right there, because we don't need to lose an airplane. You look up and you can't, you're blinking and you can't see the ground or whatever when it's coming up.
Does she wear glasses when she flies?
Contacts.
Yeah.
And then we have her her aviation glasses or whatever when it's sunny and stuff. But that reminds me, I got to get another pair, because she broke $100 and some pair of damn glasses.
Oh, holy shit.
What are aviation glasses? I'm not sure what those are.
Oh, I can't think of who makes them. You see them all the time advertised in the AMA magazine and stuff. And you actually can look into. They're all plastic. I could go out and get one. I could find the name on it.
Or the lens is dark gray.
No, they make them blue. One of hers is kind of a bluish color, and one's a different color. But you can actually look into the sun, and it won't blind. It won't give you that like spot you see afterwards.
Yeah,
Really?
and a moment of blindness when you fly back out of the sun too. A lot can
Right.
happen.
It doesn't do that because
Really?
I tried it. I tried different shades of welding glass. I went and got every damn shade of welding glasses there were. And we had one that would work, but it was so dark that it was hard to see after you flew out of the sun. And for some reason, this works better. I'll go run out my truck and I'll get it. I'll let you know what the brand name is on it.
Yeah, because the sun has been my nemesis. I'm always, sometimes even to sacrifice points, I'll fly around the sun or avoid it all completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us will do that. Yeah, when you've got that in the mood.
It's one of the few sports where an overcast sky is a benefit.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
not.
love it.
In baseball, football, any of those, I guess, the players probably prefer an overcast sky.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy was pulling my leg, but this former national champion told me he closes one eye so that when he goes through the sun, when he opens that one eye that was closed, it wasn't affected by the sun and he could see.
That's a damn good idea that I had not thought of. Was that David?
No, it's Bob Whiteley.
That's a damn good idea. I had never thought of that.
Well, it's not easy to do. I got so much going on as it is. When I'm flying, it was just actually too much for me to close one eye.
Yeah.
When I'm flying.
Like
I actually tried it. I thought it was a good idea too, but practicality, that's why I'm thinking he's pulling my leg.
chewing gum and dribbling a basketball.
Exactly. Boy, it sounds like a good idea, but I couldn't do it in practice. What's up, baby?
Where's the hard glass? Hard case for this other. You already broke one on the hard case.
Mom, Dad told me because Dad like translating everything Mom said, and I'm like, Mom, I want to be able to watch an episode of film. And then Kev told me what Mom said because Kev was on the phone, and Kev told me that Mom said that you're not going to bed right now, and then Kev was like, and Mom said that Mom wants you now and bring her an ice drink.
Okay.
And
You
so
want to say hi to everybody since you made some dead air? Say hi, Tatiana.
Hey,
Hi, Tatiana.
what are you doing tonight?
How you doing tonight? Doing good? Talk. Talk. Use your words.
Is your dad a pretty good dad?
Yeah, she's not talking for some reason.
Oh, we got a thumbs up on that.
Yeah.
Well, she's smiling. That's all that counts.
Yeah.
Hey, this is my partner, actually, huh?
Partner in crime.
We're glad to see you.
We're together. I got to get her flying, though. She hasn't flown in a long time.
Yeah, you got to get her flying before she wants to start dating, or else she'll never fly.
You remind me, I got to get that shirt, that Dad's Against Daughters Dating shirt. I got to get those.
Just like I got. Yep. Samantha actually bought that for me for Father's Day.
Oh, man, that's a great Father's Day gift. That's what I want.
Dad's against daughters dating, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just,
I don't think my sons will like that one.
Yeah, the boys don't seem to like it.
I'm so glad I had a boy. That's my only child. We don't have a girl.
It would have been nice to have one of each, but it makes it easier in some ways.
I grew up as a brother and sister team. I've got a sister that's 3 years younger than me. Our birthdays are one the day after the other.
But Caleb is going to bed too.
no, this one is for she. No, I'm not. Is everyone listening to this?
Yeah, everyone's listening.
Hello.
Hello, who's that? Is that your wife?
That's my wife, yeah.
No,
You tell her to get over here in front of the screen. We want to see her.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We want to ask her questions about you.
I don't care about your purple hair. All right, she'll come out.
Questions about you, so we'll know we'll get the truth from her.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
You want the truth?
Yeah,
Hey, how you
he's
doing?
really a good guy.
See ya.
Nice to see you,
Yes.
Nice to see you.
I'm Rusty. This is Steve and Gerald,
Steve.
Hey, everyone.
and that's Charles.
We're trying to. Keep trying to corrupt him, tell him to fly, come out here to Michigan and fly with me and stuff, but he's saying you won't let him.
The weather's too nice in California.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you go out there, you got to take a shower 4 times a day or more, huh?
Probably.
Walk outside and take a shower after you've already taken a shower.
Hey, Caleb, what's up?
Yeah, with the humidity and stuff.
Yeah, you got to have thick skin to live in Michigan in the winter.
Yeah.
You guys got to come out here and enjoy our weather.
I would love to.
But we don't make enough money where I live to afford the prices in California. I mean, it's like, damn.
It's pretty hot in South Carolina too.
Yeah, it's a little high there, but I mean, the one time that I was in California when I drove truck, I couldn't even afford to eat lunch. I'm like, I don't know what these people do who make money from out of state. They need to save for a while to come here to have a vacation.
I'm always amazed when you go to Disneyland, how many people are there. I'm like, it costs over $100 to go there per person. I'm like, why is it filled up? I mean, Disneyland is packed.
They all have passes.
I'm like,
'Cause
wow.
if you live here, you might as well buy a pass.
Okay, by yearly pass or something?
Yeah.
I guess they'll probably get big discounts.
Yeah. No, you might as well buy a pass. It's like $300 for a pass or $100 for one pass. So you might as well buy the pass and go all year. So.
We were down in Florida
That's
in December. We were going to go to Disney World, but they wanted 125 for the pass, I think. And then if you wanted to get in the fast line,
fast.
that was like another $100. And then if you wanted to eat, that was like $80. And I'm like, there ain't no way in hell. Like $400 to. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. We ended up going to
Price of fun.
Busch Gardens.
Yeah, well, the thing about our heat is it's a dry heat, and you're only 20 minutes from the beach, and then the degrees go down about 20 degrees when you go down to the beach.
Yeah, I'm
About
a big guy too.
20 degrees.
Yeah, today was 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's been over 90 every day for the past couple of weeks here too. But yeah, I'm a beach guy. In fact, we're doing a beach vacation in a couple of weeks.
Anyways, nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you.
you. Keep him on the straight and narrow.
Okay.
You do what mom says, baby. You gotta do what mom says, baby. I'm on the call. Do what mom says.
I'm lucky. My boys just got home and they're eating and watching TV and relaxing. So I've got a few more free minutes before I've got to go and do all the other. Yeah.
You got to make dinner tonight or whatever?
I normally do it every night because my wife works so far away and takes so long to get home. She doesn't normally get home till about 7:30 at night. So if I've got to do any work, I do it during the day, and then when the boys get home, pack away the tools and come inside and start looking after them and getting ready doing the dinner. That's my normal routine.
Oh, that's
good. That's really good.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of go through the same thing, but I actually paid child support, but she still stays here and I still feed her and do everything. But it'd be nice to have another income coming in to help out.
Yeah.
I got less than 2 months left.
Wow.
Oh, 18th.
The
3rd
of August.
Mm.
Wow, that's gonna be like a pay raise. Pay raise.
Yeah.
A big pay raise.
It'd be better than our tax cuts. That's for damn sure. And I had to pay from like the second trimester. They made me back pay.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody's like, I never heard of that before. I said, I never heard of it either. But all of a sudden I owed $2,000 some dollars. I was in the rears right off the bat. So
yeah.
But yeah, they gave me I think a month or 2 months to catch up. I'm like, oh, okay. They're called Zurich. Zurich sunglasses.
Oh.
Wow.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
See,
Extreme
but I
glare.
wear prescription glasses, so they fit over your glasses.
No, these and I can show you this one.
Yeah, I got some ones that fit over. They were about $25 at Walmart.
They
Yeah.
make ones that go over your glasses. This is one that Samantha broke. But I don't. It's kind of a bluish.
Yeah,
Okay.
they wrap around. I want some like
And on
that.
the back they kind of look a greenish gray on that set, and that's the ones we got to replace because that's for direct sunlight. You can look right in the sun.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then these are kind of a purplish rose color, but I could actually wear them and see the screen and stuff like that with these ones on. But these are kind of like the ones she wears when it's sunny, but she doesn't have to look directly into the sun, or if it's overcast a little bit. But yeah, this thing here is really, it's darker, but yeah, it don't hurt your eyes. I've flown in them, but I need regular glasses, so that's why I don't. I was always going to get me a pair of that went over my glasses, but they were selling them at the Nats, and I mean that guy must have sold 30, 40 pair of these because it was really bright and sunny that day he was there. Like, look at the sun, and everybody started looking up at the sun, and it was like, wow.
What sort of price are they, Steve?
What's that?
What sort of price are they? What sort of money?
$125.
Oh well, that's too much money for me.
They're a little pricey, but I mean they'll last you forever. If you take care of them and don't set on them.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Save a model. Yeah. Well, if they save a few models,
yeah, right.
That's a great way to think of it. Save a plane. How much is the plane worth to me?
Well, or what is first place over third place worth to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you've got a bottom and maneuver and your opponent doesn't have to because they've got the right glasses, then they've got a huge advantage over you. Whereas if you're doing your maneuver in the wrong position just to avoid the sun and scoring badly, it makes sense.
Well, that was like that year at the Nats that we bought these. It's like, we go to the Nats and I spend shitting $1,000 some dollars for be there for a week. And every day it was sunny and she couldn't see and just closing one eye and so when she come out of the sun she could see, and I was like, we might as well stay home if we don't have the equipment to use to be able to
Yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah, it's a very good point.
But it was like, I don't know, 98 degrees that year for 6 days straight or something like that. There was no breeze, no clouds, just burning down sun,
Oh. Well, maybe I'll consider that. Especially ones that can fit over my glasses.
Yep, you got ones that go right over your glasses, and
Yeah, sounds a good recipe. Yeah, I got some prescription sunglasses made, but they're not that good. You couldn't use them in the sun like that, and they're a bit uncomfortable because I got them made up with the springs that go round your ears to make sure they don't come loose. But because they're uncomfortable, I don't wear them when I probably should.
Yeah. Well, then would be good, like her second pair here, when it's kind of like normal. But that if you're only going to get one pair, I'd get the dark ones that you can look into the sun, because you can always, take them off and put on a regular pair of sunglasses that you don't need on them other days.
Yeah. And if they go over your glasses, then you could wear them, or Samantha could wear them, or in my case, my boys or wife could wear them if they're up flying.
Right.
Yeah, I've got my first pair of prescription sunglasses, and I bought them for being out at the fields too, because the little spring-loaded clip-ons are too much trouble and they're not dark enough.
Yeah, that's what I wear.
Yeah. I also, though, I did like being able to put my sunglasses from Walmart, the ones that covered my other glasses. I liked that I could put them over the regular glasses with the clip-ons too. So I had 2 layers of sunglass, and
Oh,
then
look at that.
glass under it.
Now we know why his wife married him.
I looked really cool with that on.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin McElroy says, what was the name of those sunglasses again?
Zurich.
Zurich. Zurich, I presume.
Yep, Zurich.
There you go.
I've got a
Kevin.
phone number on there.
All right, let me have it.
800-533-5665.
All right.
I think that's
56 what?
Wait a minute, that might be at 8. Hold on, I gotta ask Samantha to read that. Hold on a minute.
All right. So Kevin's still hanging around and cool. I lost my chat, I guess. I don't see anything that's going on.
Yeah, 5665.
800. What is 800 what? Something 5665.
Get focused again. Shit.
I'm typing this into the chat box.
How about the glasses on your head? Don't those work?
They're in my fireway. That even makes it worse.
Okay. You said 533 earlier.
Yeah, it looks like 533.
Yeah.
5665.
Yeah.
Now I'm blind in this eye right now. I got to get the cataract taken out.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
And
go, Kevin. I just typed it into the chat box.
what I did was I had this one done, and I could read out of this eye, and I could see really good long distance. So these glasses, there's really hardly nothing in this one. It was all for this one to see far away. And when I wanted to read, I just put them on top of my head. But this one now is so foggy, but I can actually read a little bit, but it makes the letters are all foggy. So, but once I get this one taken out, then it's reading glasses all the way where
I've been told I've got a little bit of a cataract in one eye. I forget which, in my left eye, I think.
Well, when I went in and this one, it was before that one. I had this one done 3 years ago or something. And I went in and seen the eye doctor, and they had this little machine that would go and then go make noise. They kept doing it. I'm like,
that's unnerving.
I'm like, I don't remember that thing doing that so much. And the nurse came in and she goes, I gotta have the doctor come in. And so he got looked in my eye because that machine would do something. He goes, oh, you got a cataract. And he goes, are you a welder? And I said, kind of. I said, I solder a lot, which is brazing, which we do. And he goes, you wear brazing glasses? I'm like, no.
Oh, no.
And he says, you got what we call a welder's cataract. It's right in the center. So I can, like on this one, I can see way over here, but I can't. So I can see okay out of this eye if I turn my head. But that's
peripheral vision is good, but your center vision,
right? It's just gone. And but you know, he's like, well, you gotta wear brazing glasses or welding glasses. And I said, I can't because I weld or braze. We call it, you know, silver solder, whatever it is, braze. We do it inside of a unit with wires. So if I put on my glasses and put a torch in there, we just burn up all kinds of wires and stuff hanging. Because you can't, they're so dark, you can only see the wire on the tip, you know?
Yeah.
So none of us do, just for that reason, because we got to maneuver our torch around wires because they don't want to pay us to unwire all this machinery, then wire it back.
Damn, they need to invest in something that'll protect you.
What's that?
I said the company needs to invest in something that'll protect you while you do your job.
It's called an eye doctor. Take it out. But yeah, there's just really no good way to braze that stuff. You know, when you're on the assembly line, all that stuff's done before all the wiring goes in and stuff like that. And them guys wear the glasses, but you know, it's
Yeah,
just a deal to where you can't see inside of a shaded machine that, you know, that's you reach your back in like that, and there's just no light coming in there, and you can't see anything with them glasses on.
yeah. A lot of work that you
Stand up
can't
and
really.
scratch my back.
A lot of works like that where you can't get the appropriate safety equipment in there because of a closed space. I know I've done a lot of uh, welding work in the past where you can't wear a normal visor, so I got a special hood, and it has just a very small aperture on it that changes as you weld, but it enables you to get into tight spaces. So it's specially made for people, boilermakers, whatever, where they're working at a very small space. But it was something, a specialist thing. You couldn't just buy it in the shop. You had to go and hunt it down, found it on the internet.
But I was in the shop and I see these guys got these Lincoln helmets now, and they let me use it, you know, to see what it's like. But it's all electronic, and you can, and the screen's big enough, but you can get in any angle you want, and then get close. And once it sparks, it goes dark, and then you can weld. You know, because the old days it was like getting your helmet up, and you're trying to weld and shake your head down to bring the helmet down to,
Right.
you know, to do all your welding. And these new electronic ones are nice, but they haven't came out with anything like that really for us.
Yeah, well, that one I'm talking about is a hood. It's a leather hood, and it just has the electronic portion just in a very narrow part of the hood, so it's much more compact. If you get a normal plastic welding helmet, I use a Swiss helmet, quite a good quality one, because again, your eyes are valuable. But it falls off. You get into a funny position and it moves or it falls off. Where it's a hood, though, it's tight on your head. The only problem is my glasses. They become the problem. Unless the job's close up enough, I can take my glasses off. I'd really need contact lenses or something to get the focal distance right where you can see, because there's not enough room for glasses underneath it. It's very tight fitting, but it's ideal so you can get in that tight space without the helmet getting in the way.
Right.
And because it's automatically, it's electronic as well.
Yeah, because we're torch welding, and I mean, we'll have a flame sometimes on this bigger stuff we're welding or brazing. That's 6-8 inches.
Oh, holy shit, that's a big one.
Yeah, so you know we're running big tips to, you know, to solder 1.5 inch or braze 1.5 inch, 2-inch, all that kind of stuff. So it's a deal to where I could get in there with that and it would go dark, but then I can't see where this flame. I can see a flame coming off it, but I can't see what it's hitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why we don't wear any eye protection, because we got to see where that full length of that flame is going and not burning stuff up. We got like little blanket things we can put in, and
well, it's a similar thing if you're using a plasma cutter in a tight space and there are wires everywhere, or upholstery or something that's going to burn, and your plasma cutter's going everywhere. You can't necessarily see what else you're about to set light to, and that's the case where a lot of people won't use a proper set of goggles with a plasma cutter. They'll just do it with their regular glasses or just safety glasses.
well, one of the guys, he bought a really cool torch, and it's shaped like a C, and they're all different sizes, so you can light it and then go around the pipe. Then it hits it from other directions, and you don't have to take and work the torch around your big pieces of copper. And then you can just solder on the backside of stuff or whatever on the sides. But God, he paid $700 for that little attachment thing, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money on.
Well, specialist tools are always dear. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have a little mirror on it, so you can see what it's actually doing behind the pipe or behind the,
Well,
the joint.
that's the other thing is that a lot of times I weld or braze with a mirror. I'll have a mirror up there, and I got, you know, the mirror and the torch in one hand and trying to look at it, and then with the other hand bring in the brazing rod.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm on my hands and knees and balanced on my elbows, and
Wow.
Yeah, it's all part of the job, isn't it?
No, how about if you put a light on your forehead? You know, with those bands that It's
like a
glass.
lunker light. Yeah.
That way you can wear your goggles and then you can see inside.
It doesn't. It doesn't light up the. It doesn't light up the wiring and stuff enough.
It would overpower the torch flame, I suppose.
Yeah, however it works, but yeah, I mean, we just haven't really figured out a good way, except for these new torches this guy got, but they don't go up real big. So, but
there's little compact LED torches that are really good. Ones like this. It's got the magnetic mount on the back, so it's ideal when I'm welding. And you stick it in wherever you want to go, and they're very bright for what they are.
Yeah, they are very bright. Yeah.
I like that hanger on it.
Yeah, the hanger on it. Yeah, you put a hanger on it.
I got 3 of them. 2 of them I know where in the ceiling they're at. Because I used the magnet to hook them on, packed up all my tools, and left my damn light burning up there in the ceiling. I've done that twice now. I'm like, oh shit.
Third time's the charm.
Yep. So now I tend to, but we can get them at Harbor Freight for like, they're on sale again for like $3.
Right. You can get them free sometimes.
Yeah. So I just buy a new set of screwdrivers, and you know, that's the kind of thing with Harbor Freight. My screwdrivers now are used for chisels and everything else because I get a whole set for like $7, and they're really good screwdrivers. I shouldn't be beating on them with a hammer and stuff like that, but I do.
Yeah, well, it happens when you're trying to get a job done desperately. If it's a life and death situation, you grab whatever's around, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, I was talking to Rusty earlier, and maybe you too, Gerald, that I was trying to find a really flat edge ruler that is true, you know, and I'm coming up short. Every one I've found so far, when I lay it against a level, I can see light. When I hold it to light, I can see light through some parts. It's not ground and not machine. I don't want to spend a fortune either, but I'm just wondering how if you guys have anything like that where it's a really good edge, flat.
What I did was
actually straight.
What I did was I took my my sanding block. It's like a aluminum thing, and I sanded the edge of my ruler.
Okay, I might end up doing that.
Yeah, how about an engineer's ruler? You know, they're just those metal rulers. I like using them. It's that one's one of my favorites. I always have it here in the modeling room, but they're stainless steel, and they've got a nice machined edge. And I think like Rusty raised the point, it's the zero is at the end of the ruler. It measures from the end of the ruler, which makes it convenient. There's no 1/8 gap.
Yeah.
And so just an engineer's ruler, and you get kind of right angle ones and bit squares, and for engineering that are generally
what
well
are
made.
What are you trying to measure out?
Well, I'm trying to actually not so much measure as I'm trying to cut an edge on the fuselage sides. My fuselage is 43 inches, and I don't want that cut to have any waves or I want it to be a straight, flat. So when it glues against the top block, you have a really good tight fit and use less glue. You know?
Yeah, usually I'll sand my top block in or whatever, you know, once I'm done. So I got a big old one of the metal sanding blocks, and
you always cut it a 32nd oversize and then sand the block.
What I bought was a big T square thing from Harbor Freight where they use on drywall.
Yeah.
And I use that on everything now because that damn thing's 4 foot long or whatever. I have to put it on the table, and it's heavy, and I can stick my wood on there and cut along it. And I
got a painter's mask that is about 4 feet long in steel. I bet it's that straight.
It's called a painter's mask?
Like you hold up to paint a sharp edge to whatever you're painting. Like if you're painting inside of a long line, so you hold it up and then paint along the edge. Or that's not the name. I guess I'm using the wrong word for mask, but that's what it actually does.
Okay, those are all good ideas.
Yeah, the other thing was I seen a guy had made up a long piece of wood or metal. I forget what it was, but he put that sticky tape that tower cells. Put that on there, and then you set your piece of balsa wood down on the bottom part of it, and then run it back and forth with that flat back to make everything nice and flat. But it's how much room you got and how much stuff you want to do or whatever. But yeah,
Another one.
for rulers, I like you can get them at I think Hobby Lobby, and they're clear. So you're always trying to measure over a 1/4 inch, space.
Right.
Like when we did the spacing on Samantha's for lines and stuff. With it being clear, if you wanted a 1 inch space, you hold the 1 inch mark, you can look through it and then move the edge and then just mark it on the edge and move that one over and mark on the edge. To where instead of kind of making 2 marks, and it was nice, but that's Bob Hunt's idea. Yeah. And how he lays out wings, and if you do drawings and stuff like that, you can lay that over there and see your mark and just set it up.
You just don't cut on it, that's all.
Yeah. I've got some clear rulers too, but they're not very long. They're only like 24 inches.
Yeah, this one is fairly long, and it's a lot thicker, and it's real flexible. And you can actually like go over put it over your wing and actually mold to the shape of your wing.
Yeah.
And set up tape lines and stuff like that.
I actually use that's exactly what I do too.
Yeah.
Wings. I've got a ruler that'll conform to the shape, and it's clear.
Yeah, and there's like red lines on it, but yeah, the only place I ever found that was at Hobby Lobby back in their drawing section or whatever.
I have a flexible ruler, but it's solid. It's not translucent. You can't see through it.
Well, yeah, I got a really nice steel ruler that's flexible, and it's got like a backing on it, like a little really thin rubber backing.
Right.
And it's really nice, but you got to have your mark set up so where you can mark it and draw it, where the other one you can set it on a mark and move it along.
That's good for ink lines, because that little tape on the back lifts it off of your surface so that it doesn't bleed under.
Right.
Okay.
Ragged edge.
And I can't remember where I bought that from or got it or whatever, but that's a slick little stainless steel ruler that's really thin and really flexible.
One of my 18-inch steel rulers has a thin cork back on it.
Yeah,
okay.
I have one of those too. If I need like a 48-inch ruler, because the fuselage sides are 43 inches long. So, but I have a friend who's a machinist, and he said I could use his.
Yeah, see, that's where I ran into 48 inches. That's why I bought that the drywall tee or whatever they call it.
Right.
And it's heavy and straight, and and it works real good, for doing that, for cutting long stuff. What I do is that the one edge of the tee will drop over the edge of the table.
Right.
So then it sets, and it's heavy enough to where I'll set my wood out and then set that over, and that holds that wood nice and flat and tight when you cut.
Right.
You don't have to put a lot of pressure. And I'm
That's
thinking,
good for slicing.
Harbor Freight, they were really cheap. It wasn't nothing expensive.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. I remember watching the Winnie video when he went over to Joe Adamusco's house, and Joe Adamusco pulls out this Staring machinist ruler, 48 inches, about a 1/4 inch thick, and that thing looked like the real deal. I imagine that'd be very expensive. I'd imagine
probably $100 or better.
Yeah.
Some of the boulders levels might be good for that as well. They're not that dear, but they're readily available if you go along to a building supply store, and that's where I think you just check out the large tool places or building supplies. You'll probably find a variety of things. Another thing is the art shops. You can get things like flexi curves. They're really good for drawing round profiles where you want a consistent profile. You just bend it in the shape you want, and it holds that shape.
They've got that at Staples and Hobby Lobby, and Michael's probably has it too.
When I bought, where the hell did I buy it? It was a closeout, and I haven't used it yet, but it's a laser level that like drywallers use and stuff, and it's
I've got one that stands on a tripod.
Yeah, this whole thing comes in this little case, little plastic case. And I thought, like, once I got my it's not so bad with a full fuse because you can turn over, you know, get all your lines straight. But what I was going to do is put it on a piece of wood and throw that line on there and then mark it, like where leading trailing edge of the wing, mark one out for the motor, for the tail.
That's what I do for incidence checking.
Oh, no shit. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that'd work for that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically I was going to set the incidence by marking on the wood. Then when you lay out and cut it, but I don't know, it was on sale for like $29 and I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
I never tried it, and I haven't put any wallpaper up or anything like that, so I haven't needed it. But I got that thing, and I was always going to use it. I got it last year, but we've been doing full fuses, and you build them upside down on a table, and so then I always just measure up off the table and get all my lines and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to have to try that laser deal.
Oh, I got terrible news in my email just a minute ago. The South Carolina Gamecocks have been knocked out of the baseball super regionals.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Who are they playing?
I'm not sure who Arkansas, I think.
Arkansas, okay.
I'll have to double check. I've kind of lost track. I knew there was a super regional tonight, but I forgot to turn it on or check on it.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, this is the new coach's first year, though, so that's a big jump from not going. And our baseball team's gotten to the point where we expect them to go to the super regionals, and for a while there we were expecting Omaha because with Ray Tanner was the coach. You know, they went to the full-blown World Series games 3 years in a row and won them the first two.
Yeah.
But then after he's the athletics director now, and one of his assistants came up, Chad Holbrook, coached him for several years and kind of fell off a little bit. And
best of three is tough, though. I mean, you know, all these pitchers, they'll have a winning average or whatever, you know, but it's not like they're even up to 80% wins. When they go out there that night, they could have a little bit of an off night or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, 7 game gives you a little bit of, if somebody has a bad game or whatever. And I mean, it's easy to lose on that. You know, same thing with the hitters. And
yeah,
that was like Florida, that one girl, that third base girl, that girl butted.
They work baseball pitchers, they get burned out too. And so it's survival of the fittest.
Yeah, they had that, I think it was from Florida, the third base girl there that they had the bases loaded, or I forget what it was, but the girl bunted. And she took off running and dove and caught that ball before it hit the ground, got on her knees and threw the person out at first. And they won the game.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. But then she knocked the breath out of her, and she's like, well, yeah, she just ran and dove. Wham, hit that ground hard.
That's how you got to play if you're going to win these things. I mean, just all out. I guess you can't say balls to the wall if it was the softball girls team, but.
Yeah. But yeah, I seen that play and I was like, wow, that was really something. I mean, all of her teammates like, holy shit.
That's
But
amazing.
they didn't win the World Series. They won that, but then they got beat in the finals. But they were doing good. But yeah, you see a lot of these teams win, and then it's like flying or anything else. You have bad days.
Yeah.
Your concentration ain't there, and
You got to play every play like it's the last play of the game.
Can't
I was
take-
watching the basketball, and it's like LeBron there, 51 points. It's like I think he could have turned his back to it and just flipped it over his head and it would have went in. It's like everything he put up went in.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't see that.
And then, like Steph Curry that time, he couldn't put nothing in. And the next game, he gets 30-something points. And so that's, like a record for the most three-pointers in a game I've ever played or whatever. But the game before that, it was like he just couldn't buy a basket.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know what causes it, but it happens in all sports.
Yeah.
Well, at least with the control line, you can be competitive even in your latter years. You're not sort of on the retirement shelf when you're 30. You can keep going a lot longer.
Yeah.
I know. I'm getting beat by old men.
Well, some of us just don't seem to improve. We go backwards. It's like when we were flying on the weekend, there was a guy who came out, Phil Smith. He hadn't flown for 9 years. He goes and he puts in 3 really nice patterns. His F2B patterns look really good. And my wife says to me, his patterns just thrash yours, and he isn't practicing. You're practicing every weekend. What's wrong,
I'm going to have to relearn how to fly pretty soon here.
Wait till you get beat by your daughter or your son or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you're like,
I can see it. I can see it. I just am that sort of person. I don't really have that sort of go-get-'em competitive attitude, and I'd rather save my model and get a perfect, maneuver and perfect pullouts. And some people are competitive right to the end. They can be really ancient. That you get those flyers that are still flying in their 70s and 80s that are doing really well, and they've just got that competitive spirit, and they want to go out there and win. I don't care if they're dead the next day, they're going to fly as best they can that day.
well, it's like when Samantha first started flying, it's like I could do a loop and inside, outside, stuff like that, and it really pissed her off. Well, she learned really fast when we went to the Nats. I had to fly because she wasn't going to fly unless I flew. She beat me. I flew the adults, she flew kids, but same judges. So she beat my ass, so she thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
From then on, it was like no competition for her.
Yeah.
And that might happen to me someday with Tatiana. Who never knows?
Yeah, I mean, that was like all the guys in the controlling, club all flying against Samantha. And, oh, yeah, you're going to do good stuff. And then it took her like 8 months, and she's beaten all of them. And they've flown for years and years, It just all comes together and bang. She was just really beating everybody.
So I'm making a GoFundMe. Should I put control line world? Because you only get like so much to write. It's not very long. So what should I put for my title? Because I can't put all of it. I tried to put control line flying world championships, but it won't let me. That's too long.
Control line world championships.
I don't know what I should. I don't know if I should put flying on it because you can put tags on it. It's just like the title, what people will see or whatever. So I know I needed world championships in it.
Yeah, that's what all you can do.
And then tomorrow, can we do some financial aid stuff for Ferris? We have to do that.
I thought you had that all done today.
No, remember I told you that they gave me papers because it takes too long to do it there.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
they gave me the papers, to show you how to do it or whatever. But
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
I want you to be there when I'm doing it.
Okay.
I think
You're gonna weasel money out of it, aren't you?
right.
Yeah, she wants me. I wonder why she wants me to be around when she's got to do all the financial stuff for college.
Yeah, you got the money, man.
Believe me, I know. Al is still up to his ears in debt, but being that he's finally nailed down the new job as a scientist last week,
Yeah, congrats again.
he's gonna be happy now. But anyway, let's give it a wrap tonight, and we'll come back on Friday. This was a good crowd. Well,
I might not be on Friday because I'm thinking we're going to be at Brodak. If I can get Thursday and Friday off, we'll go there Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
yeah.
So, and I don't know if I can get on with my phone or not. So if I'm not on Friday, then you guys know I'm at Brodak. If I'm here, then I'm here. But otherwise, I'll see you next week, Monday.
All right. Hope you get there. It'd be great for you to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope you do too.
We told everybody we're showing up, and that's why I told them today at work. I said, hey, we're supposed to go.
And tell them that they need you.
Well, what it is that all of a sudden we got new accounts that they've been working on for like 2 years. I mean, we've been so slow. And it's like, bang. I mean, just all these new accounts are coming on board. And they want us there right now since it's a new account.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'll see. One guy, he started last week, but 68 units to go through, which is about 40 hours. That's about 1 week, and they want him to do it in 4 days. So he's really busting butt trying to get through them. And I was at a brand new account today out by Muskegon. Well, that's a 45-minute drive for me to get there and stuff, but all these things are coming through. And the second one I was at was one we haven't been on in a couple of years, so I guess they came back or something. I don't know. So they're just, yeah, it's work, down the road, but we'll see. It kind of messes up vacation. I wish they'd have came on in the fall and not the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. Until Friday. Fair winds, tight lines.
Bye.
See ya. Good night.
All right.
I'm out of here.